You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look me better. Put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of What If Naruto Enters How to Train Your Dragon. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of KingBeasta on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Flashback 6 years ago. Mulch and Bucket are walking into Goober's shop with a young Naruto on Mulch's shoulders. Naruto then starts to sing about the ocean. Mulch chucked at his son while Bucket hum in tone. They then enter Goober's show. Goober turns his head seeing who enter his shop. Bucket, Mulch, and Naruto walk into the shop. Goober waves at the small family. Hey Mulch, Bucket, Naruto, good see you, said Goober. Same to you, Goober. Bucket and I need your help, said Mulch. Goober tilt his head wondering what the two want, and what that might be, asked Goober. But before Mulch can say anything, Naruto jumps off of his uncle's shoulders and landing in front of Goober, shocking the large man. Naruto grins at him, showing off his fangs resembling a grinning fox. I want you to train me, stated Naruto while still grinning. Goober raised an eyebrow at the blonde boy. That's weird, why would he want me to train him? I kill dragons, and from what I heard Naruto wants to be a fisherman, not dragon slayer, thought Goober. Fine, I think I'll humor you. Naruto, why do you want to learn how to fight? Asked Goober. If Naruto's grin got any wider it would split in half. Simple, Goober, if I'm amused by other Vikings or against an aggressive dragon. Also, if you train me I will work with you and also get you a happy hand. I know someone who would love to work here. Just think about it, wouldn't it be easy having 4 extra hands, Goober, said Naruto. Goober strokes his beard thinking over and realize he does need an extra hand. Okay, you got a deal, said Goober. Flashback end. After that he has been working here. 2 days later he brought Hiccup where I would teach both of them. Thanks to that boy I needed more. I must say training Naruto was much easier than training Naruto. Did this help you with anything? Asked Goober. Ruffnut grins at Goober. Yeah, thanks, see you later, said Ruffnut as she runs out the door, missing seeing the smirk on Goober's face. Now that girl is on a mission, said Ruffnut. As Ruffnut walks towards Hiccup house she's in deep thought, so I learn he looks out for his friends and is quite strong. From what I heard from Hiccup, Naruto's spear is heavy, more heavy than a normal spear. Cool, thought out loud, grinning like a fool. As the young blonde girl steps in front of Hiccup's house she knocks on the door. Once she gains a mischievous smile she starts knocking on the door really fast, but it was more like someone banging on the door. Which is surprising with Ruffnut's little hands, but then again Ruffnut was the stronger one out of the Thorson siblings. She hears stomping from behind the door, but this doesn't stop her from knocking on the door. When the door opens, Hiccup is on the other side of the door. Hiccup had a deadpan expression on his face as Ruffnut keeps knocking on his forehead. Ruffnut, stop, groaned Hiccup. Ruffnut finally stopped knocking on Hiccup's forehead. She grins at him. Hey, Hiccup is stoic here, said Ruffnut. Hiccup blinked his eyes. He honestly thought she would ask about Naruto, but then again she was with Naruto when he left Berk. You want to talk to my dad? Asked Hiccup. She nods her head. Yeah, but I need to talk to the both of you, said Ruffnut. She then leans into Hiccup's personal space. So is stoic here, said a grinning Ruffnut. Hiccup then groans at the blonde. She was so hard to understand. Hiccup honestly doesn't think anyone would understand Ruffnut or her brother. The only person who could possibly understand the Thorson twins is Naruto. Yeah, my dad is home, come on in, said Hiccup. They both enter Hiccup's house. They get treated to the sight of Stoic eating a piece of meat like he hasn't ate before. Hiccup groans at his father eating habits, but shouldn't be surprised since they are Vikings. Hiccup turns his head to Ruffnut, drooling at the meat. Meat, said Ruffnut. Stoic, hearing a female voice, looks up seeing his son and one of his friends, Ruffnut. Hey Ruffnut, do you need something? Said Stoic as he puts down the piece of meat. Yeah, can you tell me how you guys met? Naruto, asked Ruffnut in a nervous tone. Stoic raises his eyebrow and strokes his long beard. Why do you want to know how we met, Naruto? Asked Stoic as he narrows his eyes. Ruffnut rubs the back of her head nervously. I just need to find something out, said Ruffnut. Stoic gives her a piercing gaze and Hiccup raised his eyebrow. Ruffnut blushed. Stoic had an idea of what's going on. Okay, I'll tell you. Hiccup and I have known Naruto since he was a baby, said Stoic. Ruffnut widened her eyes. She didn't know Naruto had known Stoic and Hiccup that long, but she did knew Naruto knew Hiccup the longest though. Oh yeah, me and Naruto have known each other, but I also remember every time he had a fishnet he would throw it over my head, said a deadpan Hiccup. Ruffnut then giggles while Stoic laughs hard, holding his stomach as he remembers how Naruto would use Hiccup for target practice. Naruto would also help around the house when he's not fishing. I also remember when he first pranked Snotlout, said Hiccup. Flashback, 7 years ago. Afore Naruto and Hiccup are carrying a wooden stroller with water balloons the size of a bowling ball. Naruto grinning like a fox while Hiccup is also smiling. The reason for them smirking is smiling is because when Naruto and Hiccup were done fishing and bringing the fish back to Berk. On the way back into town they met a boy named Snotlout. Sadly meeting said boy didn't make the best impression. The boy pushed Hiccup down sadly before Naruto could defend him. Snotlout quickly ran away and they both asked around have they seen him around, and luckily they found out where he walks around. So 3 days later Naruto had collected various things for his brand new prank. As they see the boy, Naruto picks up one of the balloons. Hiccup raises his eyebrow. So, what exactly is these things? Asked Hiccup. He suddenly felt a little scared at Naruto's grin. Do you really want to know? Asked Naruto with a sly smile. Hiccup then nods his head. Yes I do, said Hiccup groaning at Naruto. He always did love to create a suspense like aura. Naruto then shrugged his shoulders, still smirking. That would make Loki proud. These balloons are made out of fish guts, skunk spray, dragon PSS, sour yak milk, seaweed, and liver, said Naruto. Hiccup face then turned blue as he puts his hand over his mouth like he's going to throw up. Naruto, that is so gross. I don't even want to know how you got the liver and dragon PSS, said a sickly Hiccup. Naruto just laughed at him. He then grinned evilly. Kukuku, I'm gonna prank his butt so hard, snickered Naruto. Hiccup got a little scared of Naruto. Naruto was always scary when he got in prankster mode. Hey look Naruto, there's the one kid, Biglout, Sweatlout, Slugout, Snotlout was his name, said Hiccup pointing Snotlout. Naruto then snickers at the word Slugout. Ahaha, Slugout, that's a good one, laughed Naruto. He then picks up a balloon. Hey Slugout, yelled Naruto. Snotlout looked at who's calling him. He sees a blonde kid and a brunette. Before he can answer, Naruto threw the balloon. It hit Snotlout dead in the face. Naruto doesn't let up. He continues throw the balloons. Flashback end. Ruffnut starts laughing her butt off. Of all the pranks Naruto did, that was his favorite one. Ahahaha, I can't believe that s Naruto. First. Prank, that's hilarious man, laughed Ruffnut. She holds her sides. Stoic starts laughing too. He always thought that was one of his favorite pranks. He liked. Hiccup laughed too. That prank was pretty funny. Ahaha, thanks guy, I'll see you around, said Ruffnut. Both Hiccup and Stoic nods their head. Alright then, I hope you'll find all the answers you're looking for, said Stoic as he winks at Ruffnut in all-knowing tone. Ruffnut blushes at the all-knowing tone. Okay, see you guys later, bye, said Ruffnut as she hurries out the house. She then heads to Astrid's training ground where she trains. The journey to the Astrid training ground doesn't take her long. She sees Astrid training with her, swinging her sword around. Ruffnut picks up a small pebble. She throws it at Astrid. Astrid senses the pebble heading toward her. She swings her sword around, cutting pebble in half. She then sees who threw the pebble. She sees Ruffnut in a throwing motion. Ruffnut, what are doing throwing a rock at me? Yelled Astrid, pointing her sword at Ruffnut with her face red with anger. Ruffnut laughed at the angry face of Astrid. Ahaha, I just wanted to get your attention, laughed Ruffnut. Astrid then groaned. She honestly thought when Naruto left she wouldn't have to deal with any annoying blondes, but sadly she was wrong. She actually forgot about Ruffnut and her brother, but she didn't believe one of the twins would try to annoy her. Just when I think my rival leaves for a few days I would get a break, but no, Ruffnut had to ruin her peaceful day, thought Astrid. She then face palms her face. Great, what do you want, Ruffnut? Asked Astrid. She quickly leans into Astrid's personal space, which creeps Astrid out. How close her fellow blonde is. Ruffnut then has a sly smile. I want to know how you met Naruto. asked Ruffnut. Astrid eyebrow switching viciously with the side of her lip also switching in annoyance. You want to know how I met that fish boy? Asked Astrid. How can she forget how she met Naruto? It was honestly the first time the fisherman had humiliated her, and it sure as hell wasn't the last. It was that day she declared him her rival. Hey wait, why do you want to know how I met fish boy? Asked Astrid with her piercing blue eyes. Ruffnut rubs the back of her head nervously with a pink blush across her cheeks and shaking her hips side to side looking like a love-sick idiot. Astrid gains a deadpanned expression. Astrid then gains a knowing expression. Wait a minute, you like him don't you? Yelled Astrid as she grins at Ruffnut. Her grin even became wider when Ruffnut blush turned scarlet red. She then shakes her head ferociously. No yo you get th the wrong I don't really like na Naruto, stuttered Ruffnut. Well, that look on your face says otherwise, said a grinning Astrid. She then puts her sword don't and smiles at Ruffnut. I guess since you're my friend I will tell you how we met, said Astrid still grinning at the blushing Ruffnut. Flashback, 6 years ago. A 5-year-old Astrid is swinging her battle axe around. The young Viking warrior has been at this for 6 hours. There had been rumors about how strong and skilled she is. They have accepted her to be a great Viking and a great dragon slayer. Her training sessions get interrupted up by the sound of someone eating something. This caused a large crunch-like sound. This sound snapped Astrid out of her training state. She turns her head seeing a blonde-haired boy with blue eyes munching on what looks like a fried fish. The said boy is also carrying a spear. She raises her eyebrow at the strange blonde as he eats the fried fish and staring at her. Why the yak is he just staring? I don't know, but his calm and careless expression somehow pisses her off, thought Astrid. Shin then gains a tick mark at the blonde staring at her. What in Odin's beard are you looking at? Yelled Astrid. The blonde boy then gained a sly smile. He waved at Astrid. Hey there, I'm Naruto. I heard of you. You're Astrid. You're one of the youngest and best Vikings around, said Naruto smirking at his fellow blonde. Astrid then growled at Naruto's tone. Most people would be happy or thrilled to speak to her. Hell, they would praise her of skills at such of a young age. Hey, I know you. You're Naruto. You're Mulch's son and supposedly the best fisherman. But wait a minute, how come you aren't praising me or impressed like some other people? Yelled Astrid. Naruto just smirked, swirling his spear around. That's because I see you as a normal person. Yeah, you're skilled with weapons and probably going to be one of the best Vikings, and as for me, I might be one of the best fishermen, but at the end of the day we're just normal person. But then again, what's so special about you? Teased Naruto as he smirks at her, knowing he hurt her pride. Astrid's face turns red in anger and embarrassment. You annoying blonde idiot, yelled Astrid. Naruto just starts to laugh his butt off at the angry look on Astrid's face. Hey, stop laughing, fish boy, yelled Astrid. Naruto starts laughing harder, falling on his butt holding his gut. He laughs so hard he starts crying tears of laughter. He then gets up. Hey, I have an idea. If you can beat me in a spar, then I'll stop teasing you, said Naruto smirking at Astrid. Astrid grins at Naruto. Fine, I accept your challenge, fish boy. Get ready for the worst beating of your life, declared Astrid as she swings her axe around glaring at Naruto. Naruto smirks at her with a wide grin. She charges at him, slashing left. Naruto uses his swear to block the slash. As they slash with each of their weapons, Astrid glared at Naruto. While Naruto smirked at Astrid, they jump back. She then charges at him, but Naruto jumps in the air, kicking Astrid on the top of her head. I fish boy, I thought you were going to fight me, not play around, yelled Astrid. She swings around her AC. Naruto blocks it with his spear. Hey, this is how I fight, said Naruto as he defends himself. He then blows a raspberry. Naruto then poke her in the eye. This action caused Astrid to yell in pain, gripping her eye after Naruto poked her. Son of a yak. You cheater, grunted Astrid. Naruto then smirks. He then swipes his spear under Astrid's leg, tripping his fellow blonde. Naruto steps on her chest, pointing his spear. Astrid neck. Give up, Astrid, I win, grinned Naruto. Astrid then gets up, start chasing after Naruto. Naruto then laughs hard, running away from her. He then reaches into his pocket and chucks a raw fish at her face. Flashback end. After that we had been rivals, and every time we duel he pulls out some trick and wins, growled Astrid as she does not like how she always loses. Ruffnut then falls on the ground laughing her but off. The story was so funny she started crying and holding her sides. Ruffnut gains a huge tick mark. She then kicked Ruffnut in the shin, causing Ruffnut to squeal in pain. Hey, what was that for? Yelled Ruffnut, rubbing onto her leg that had been kicked. She glares at her fellow blonde, but her glare has no effect on the young warrior. That's what you get for laughing, Ruffnut, yelled Astrid. Ruffnut just rolled her eyes at Astrid. She then gets up. Yeah, whatever you say, Ponytail, said Ruffnut. So did you learn anything from your boyfriend? Teased Astrid. This caused Ruffnut to blush red. She then runs away yelling. He's not my boyfriend. Astrid laughs at the embarrassed reaction. That'll teach her to laugh at me. So, Ruffnut likes Naruto. Who would have guessed? Well, her stupidness matches his stupidness, said Astrid. Back with Ruffnut, she runs at Mulch house after talking to him. Then she'll know what to do. Ruffnut then knocks onto Mulch's door. For some reason Ruffnut feels nervous, probably because she's in front of her crush's house and about to talk to Naruto's dad. Shun then shakes her head out of her thought. She hears footsteps. Mulch opens the door. He looks down, seeing Ruffnut, the daughter of Muffnut and Duffnut. He then smiles, seeing the little girl. Oh, hello Ruffnut, what are you doing here? Asked Mulch, wondering why one his son's friends doing here. Ruffnut starts to get nervous again. Hell, her heart start beating fast in her chest, feeling like her heart is about to bust out of her chest. Umwa wanted Httyd Askita about the Naruto, asked a nervous Ruffnut. You want to ask about my son? Asked Mulch. He raises his eyebrow at the stuttering blonde girl. I wonder, does she like my son? Thought Mulch with a piercing gaze. Why yes Mulch, it's important, it's ss something I need to find out, stuttered Ruffnut, moving her body side to side. Mulch then snickers, there's no doubt in my mind my son Naruto has a girl going after his heart, thought Mulch. Why don't you come in, said Mulch, giving the young woman a charming smile. Ruffnut nods her head, entering the home of the fisherman. They headed to the cough. Both Mulch and Ruffnut sit down on the couch. He turns his head, smirking at Ruffnut. So, what do you want to know about my son? Asked Mulch as he smirks at Ruffnut. Blushes. I want to know how Naruto was when he was younger, asked Ruffnut. Mulch then laughed at Ruffnut. Hey, what's so funny? Yelled Ruffnut. Mulch then waves a calm down like motion. It's nothing, haha. So you want to know about my son, right? Asked Mulch. Alright, but Naruto has been the same, he's always played pranks and he loves fishing, said Mulch. For hours he then tells Ruffnut a bunch of stories of Naruto. 4 hours later. Mulch and Ruffnut fishing, laughing at the story of how Naruto somehow replaced all of Meldo's chicken eggs with fish guts. Both of them were on their backs crying their eyes out. I can't believe Naruto did that, laughed Ruffnut. But how did he do it? Laughed Ruffnut. Mulch held his large gut while laughing. I have no idea. Most of things he does, I don't know how he does it, laughed Mulch. He then whp away his tear. So Ruffnut, have you learned everything? Asked Mulch, smiling at Ruffnut. She nods her head. Thanks Mulch, I need to go home, we're having chicken for dinner, said Ruffnut, drooling at the thought of the food. She then walks to the door. Oh yeah, please take care of Naruto, said Mulch. Upon hearing this, Ruffnut blushed red and ran out of the door and home. Mulch smiled at the sight of our Ruffnut running away. Don't worry Ruffnut, I'm sure Naruto will return your feelings, said Mulch. Bucket walks in the living room with a fish. Who was that? Asked Bucket. It was nothing, don't worry about it. Now start skinning that fish, ordered Mulch. With Naruto, 8 days later. After a long boat ride to Ravage Horn Island, both Naruto and Blackheart have arrived. Upon arriving at the island, both Naruto and Blackheart are shocked when he heard the island was a desert island. They each thought it was an inland cover in sand, but looking at it now they soon realize how dead wrong the duo are. The island is a desert, but it looks like a barren wasteland, looking a desert-like alien planet cover with sand, sandstorms. To put it simply, the whole island looks like a giant desert. Naruto and Blackheart start sweat, and neither of two had stepped one foot on the desert island. Naruto turns his head to Blackheart. Blackheart, I think it'll be safe if you don't step on this island. When I come back I'll call for you, so for now just stay away from the island, ordered Naruto. Blackheart nods her head. She then swims back into the ocean to get away from the burning out desert. Naruto then takes off his shirt and arm warmers. He then heads to the ship. Picks up a self-made large backpack out of fur. He grabs his book and water container and puts it into the backpack. He then puts on a sleeveless shirt. He grabs his spearing, glaring at the desert. So, this is the island that Dad and Uncle Bucket almost died, said Naruto as he walks into the desert island. As Naruto walks into the desert island, he has no idea what the island has in store for him, but he won't die on this island. As the young fisherman travels through the sand but out of near, a large sandstorm hits Naruto in the face, causing Naruto to fall on his butt. Okay, that hurt like a lot. Stupid sandstorm, where the hell did it even come from? Stupid desert, grunted Naruto. He then picks himself up, shielding his eyes from the sand. Suddenly the sandstorm picked up, making it harder to see. As he travels through the sand, he sees a large rock. Naruto then runs towards the rock. Hiding behind the rock, he then starts to breathe heavily, a clear sign of exhaustion at being in the heat. Naruto then wipes away the sweat from his temple. Naruto grits his teeth at the intense heat. Darn it, it's so freaking hot, grunted Naruto. He then reaches for his backpack nut. Before he could reach for it, he hears a growling, hissing-like sound. He looks behind him and sees a scorpion bat-like dragon. It has razor-sharp fangs. The scorpion bat dragon is around 10 feet 4 inches tall. The beast has bat-like wings, with the wing span being around 5 feet long. It has the body of a scorpion and the face of a bat. It has scorpion-like fangs on the side of its face. The dragon is dark green and it has purple glaring eyes. Naruto gets nervous of the sight of the dragon. What the hell is that thing? It looks like a cross between a scorpion and a bat. Isn't? No, it can't be some type of hybrid. No, it's a dragon, thought Naruto. He then watches as the dragon claps its large pincers. The dragon then snarls at Naruto, opening its dagger-like fangs. Naruto stays still and not provoke the dragon, but Naruto stays alert. He looks left, right and down for something to shield him from this dragon. Naruto then sees a echidna by his foot. He slowly picks it up, watching the dragon's movement. Okay, so what are you going to do? Said Naruto as he watches the dragon. The dragon tilts its head. The dragon then hisses at Naruto with salvia dripping from its mouth. Sht looks like it's about to strike, grunted Naruto. As the dragon's mouth opens, its tongue comes out of its mouth. The tongue has purple liquid coming from its tongue. As the tongue is coming at Naruto, he quickly throws the echidna. As the tongue hits the echidna falls on the ground. Naruto then noticed the small animal isn't moving. Okay, so that dragon poisoned that echidna, but it doesn't look like the echidna is dead, just paralyzed. Okay, so don't let the tongue touch you. Very bad, said Naruto. The dragon then starts to fly and charge at him. Naruto then slides across the sand, avoiding the dragon. The dragon then tries again to paralyze Naruto with its tongue. Again Naruto rolls right, narrowly dodging the attack. Darn it, it almost got me, growled Naruto. He then grabs a handful of sand, throws it at the dragon eyes. Naruto smirks at blinding the dragon temporarily. The dragon then roared and thrashed around blindly. Naruto rolls left, avoiding the dragon's stinger. He then smirks. I think I know what to call you. I think I'll call you Lockjaw, said Naruto. He then picks up his spear, throwing it at the Lockjaw. The spear pieces through its chest, killing it. Naruto then falls on his butt, releasing a large breath he didn't know he was holding. Dear Loki, that was hard, groaned Naruto, whipping the sweat off his head. Naruto then stands up, walking over to the Lockjaw. He picks up the dead dragon. He goes back to the rock. He looks down, seeing the echidna still paralyzed. Dad wasn't kidding when he said the island was dangerous, said Naruto. He then reaches to his backpack, pulls out his book. He then starts drawing the Lockjaw and writing down about it. Naruto then puts his book in the bag and resting. After all, he did fight a dragon in the heat. 10 minutes later, the echidna starts getting up and walks away. Naruto then narrows his eyes. So, the victim is paralyzed for 10 minutes. That's quite dangerous, said Naruto as he watches the animal leave. Naruto grits his teeth in frustration. I can't stay here, I gotta leave, said Naruto as he gets up, traveling south. As he travels, he then sees houses. Barely understand. As Naruto travels through the village, he noticed he's now in the ruins of Old Island. So I guess this used to be in village before whatever caused this massive sandstorm, said Naruto, but unknown to him he is being watched by golden cat-like eyes. Naruto then enters one of the abandoned houses. As he looks around, he notices the while house has been destroyed, walls covered in scratches as if something large did this. He also sees the walls littered with blood stains. As he looks around, he sees a skeleton body cut in half. The body looks like it belongs to a child. As Naruto walks around the house, he sees a dusty old book. He picks up the book and starts to read it. Hello, my name is Ashina Uzumaki. I am writing in this book for anyone who stumbles upon this god-forsaken desert. It may be hard to believe that this once flourish green island is now a desert, but it's all thanks to that dragon. Well, that's if you could call it a dragon. The beast was something we never could have dreamed about. One day the dragon appeared and everything went to hell. The islands start becoming hot. Some of the water sources have dried up. The only water source that hadn't dried up in the large water source but is guarded by the grande stone blueback crab, which is a very large crab capable of destroying our village. But when things couldn't get worse, some of the core have started died. We used to have rain, but ever since that dragon came it stopped raining, which made living on our island difficult. The only plants, vegetables, and fruit that have survived are water peach. It tastes like watermelon and peaches. Mango rum, a fruit that has alcoholic juice but it's good for you and has lots of proteins. Limeberries that taste like lime. There would also be a plant that grows in a bush called ambernut. Medium-sized ball, but when you crack them open there's a green-like substance in them. They taste like green apples, tangerine, grapes, plum, and strawberry. But it also has a sweet and rich taste. Another one is called tropic lion, a plant that grows from the tree. It tastes like oranges, blueberry, and coconut. There will be cabbage tree, tropic carrots. Another would be angel mill, a very tasty and healthy purple plant. Fire heart herb, able to heal most burns and injuries. Grass brass, a type of herb that you crush, it allows you to lure away any beast. Blaze fairy horn, despite the name they're actually really sweet and cold. The seed keeps the berry from getting too hot. Widow glass, a large crystal clear looking banana. When you eat it, it can heal you from the temperature sickness or stay. You're flying on a large bird or dragon and you get air sick. If you seek on the widow glass it will relieve the air sickness. There will be palm trees, dragon tail tree, able to produce hard sap, enabling you to cut through steel and enabling you to withstand dragon fire for a few minutes. At Mosser, vine grain tree, a very large tree being over 299 feet tall. These trees are inhabitants of dust talon, a very large birds at the size of 5 feet 11 inches. They are able to hide within dust storms. And dragon lily crusher, a type of tree disguised as a sleep dragon, then when it comes closer it eats its prey. We thought the heat as hell. If the heat doesn't kill us, the animals and dragons will. There are creatures called dingo raptor, a large dog that eats dragon lily crusher plants, a very kind animal. It also likes to eat boulders. It has hard tough fur. There's a tunnel turtles, they run through the dirt and eating insects and plants. Another one being a steel gain sabertooth, a giant silver sabertooth, but it only eats fish and rainbow fish, which are 7 feet tall. Luckily these animals don't eat human. The animals you truly jade to worry are the Chichin, a massive desert feline that has the body of a lion and speed of a cheetah. This horrifying beast reaches 8 feet tall. Another dragon you must watch out are small flyless dragons. They are known as Valder. They shoot small explosive ball. They can also shoot air ball too. They travel in a pack. Just as we start to believe he van handle the cruel change on our island, we were sadly mistaken. Months later a huge sandstorm hits, killing various of people and crops. We thought it was a sign of Odin, but we were wrong. It was a sign of Surtur. It felt like we truly knew what suffering was, know what we were dealing was the wrath of a demon. A few friends of mine decide to investigate the change of our island. This was a decision we will soon regret. Raza, Mew, Koharu, Danzo, Zabuza, Hanzo, Anoki, Pakura, Amuri and myself traveled to where the sandstorm started, and we were greeted to a dragon being 39 feet tall, wingspan being over 11 feet tall. The dragon has dagger-like claws ready to rip its prey apart. It has a long sharp tail that is capable of crushing a person to death, cutting someone in half. It has 4 horns on each side of its head. It has lime green eyes. We have called this dragon Sandstorm Triton. We soon learn how this mysterious dragon is the cause of everything when it blew a powerful sandstorm at Danzo, Zabuza, and Raza, obliterating them. Not soon the dragon came to our village and destroy it. I leave this book as a warning. Do not, and I mean do not, confront the Sandstorm Triton. It truly is a demon of dragons. As Naruto puts the book down he rubs his eyes. He couldn't help but feel sorry for these people at their cruel end. So this island is dangerous, probably as dangerous as the sea creatures at the bottom of the ocean, said Naruto. As Naruto searches through the house he finds fire heart herb. He then puts the herb in his backpack. These will come in handy, said Naruto. He then crawls quietly to the window. He peeks out his head looking if there's any predator. As he does this he then notices it's already night time. The young blonde then yawns and groans at the long day he just had. But the young fisherman knew his hardship on this god-forsaken desert isn't even close to being over. Good, it's clear outside. Well, at least for now, said Naruto as he narrows his eyes as he looks outside. Naruto then walks upstairs quietly, not to wake up any predators that might be sleeping. As Naruto walks upstairs he notices the walls are covered with large claw marks. Naruto opens one of the doors he notices there's a king-size bed. Even though the bed has claw marks and is ruined, the young fisherman just shrugged his shoulders in an uncaring way. Since the Sandstorm Triton has changed the environment, he knew the houses that are now ruins probably wouldn't even be livable. But it seems like his father and uncle were right, he's not just fighting the animals, he's also fighting the island itself. Naruto honestly hopes he never meets the Sandstorm Triton. From what he'd read, that dragon isn't like any dragon he's ever heard of. Hell, he never heard of a dragon with the same class as this dragon. I think I will call this dragon class Titan Wing class. Known for their massive amount of power and hostility, one of these beings have been known to change an entire island to make it more suitable for themselves. Whether it be ice, lava, swamp, forest, etc., it does not matter to these beings. Many have been known to be incredibly hostile to dragons and humans, said Naruto as he's staring at the ceiling. Day 1 of Ravage Horn Island completed. Let's see how day 2 is, said Naruto. Naruto then rolls over, closes his eyes, getting ready to sleep. The last thing on his mind is surviving whatever the island has in store for him and a certain blonde pigtail female. If only Naruto knew his morning will be anything but good. The next morning Naruto was awoken by growling, but not the growling of his stomach but the growling of a creature. The growling was so loud it woke Naruto as he opens his eyes. At the end of the door is a large feline, but not any large feline, it's the Chichin snarling at Naruto, showing its fangs. The Chichin is 8 feet 4 inches tall. It has the build of a lion but the legs of a cheetah. The large feline has the cheetah-like patterns over its fur, the mane of a male lion, tail of a cheetah, and the hybrid lion has yellow eyes. Naruto curses under his breath, son of a yak, cursed Naruto. The large feline tries to slash Naruto with its large razor-sharp claws. Naruto quickly gets up, throws the blanket at the hybrid feline. The Chichin thrash around. As the Chichin tries to cut itself from the blanket, Naruto quickly runs down the stairs like his life depends on it. As Naruto was running downstairs, the Chichin finally freed itself. The large feline jumped onto Naruto's back, stabbing its vicious long claws into Naruto's shoulders. Naruto curses under his tongue, not allowing himself to scream. The hybrid then sink its fangs into Naruto's shoulder. The young fisherman would have screamed in pain, but with having a 560 PND feline land on him and falling down the stairs as both Naruto and the Chichin land on the first floor. Naruto looks around for something to defend himself with. Naruto quickly looks around and looking back at the Chichin, who is struggling to get up. Naruto then spots a rusted fork. Naruto then smirks, giving the feline a fox-like grin. "I ugly," yelled Naruto. The Chichin snarls at the blonde in anger. Naruto then throws the rusty knife at the giant feline, causing the Chichin roars in pain. The feline slashes across Naruto's chest. Naruto then runs into the living room with the feline on his, but Naruto quickly grabs his spear. He glares at the Chichin, narrowing his piercing blue eyes. The hybrid feline glares back with a growl, showing its bloody fangs. "Come on, you overgrown house cat, let's see what you got," taunted Naruto. Somehow the Chichin knew Naruto had just taunted the Chichin, then rushes at Naruto, ready claw out his throat. Naruto runs at the Chichin with boy, man and animal with the intent to kill each other. As both fisherman and predator charge at each other, they each can only think about the other person's death. When both Naruto and the hybrid feline charge at each other, the two crash through a wall. Naruto groans in pain. Notice he has 3 claw marks across his right side of his chest. The Chichin growls in pain as it's been stabbed on its left shoulder. Naruto struggles to get up. He grits in teeth in anger. "Son of a yak, that hurt," hissed Naruto. He gets up, glaring at the feline. Naruto watches as the feline snarls and howls in pain. The half-blinded feline glares at Naruto heatedly, but suddenly 3 orange balls drop in the middle of the blonde fisherman. "Ah, CRP," groaned Naruto as the orange orbs glowed red. An explosion goes off, sending both Naruto and the feline flying away. Naruto then groans in pain when he fell on his back, for the love of Mjolnir. Cursed Naruto. As Naruto slowly gets up, he sees the ferocious Chichin dead and ripped apart with the sand covered in the hybrid's blood and guts. "SHT, that was one of the explosive ball from the Valders," whispered Naruto. He then darts his head left and right, scouting for the small dragons. Naruto then finds 10 small dragons. They have the face an iguana. It has bright pink eyes. It also has a pitchfork-like tongue. The dragon has dark gray scales. It has a frill just like the Dilophosaurus. It has sharp knife-like claws. The dragon has a thin long tail. Naruto watches as the pack of Valder eats away the dead Cheeto. Naruto then lick his tongue, talk about survival of the fittest, said Naruto sadly for Naruto. The pack of flyless dragon heard Naruto, each of them look at Naruto with each of their heads tilted at the newcomer to the island. The small dragons hissed at Naruto showing their bloody fangs. They then start to chase after Naruto cursed under his tongue. He start to run away like his life depended on it, which is true since if they catch him our young hero is good as dead. One of the Volder shoots an explosive ball at Naruto. Naruto turns his head around seeing the upcoming, Sht, cursed Naruto as the ball exploded sending Naruto flying causing the fisherman to land first on his first. Naruto slowly gets up. He turns his head seeing the Volders charging at him. Naruto twirls his spear around ready to face the dragon. Suddenly a large dog jumped in the middle of Naruto and the Volders. This large canine beast is the dragon devourer dingo raptor. The large canine is 14 feet 11 inches tall. It has snow-white fur. The fur has gold diamond-like patterns. It has a long fluffy mane. The canine also has ghostly blue eyes. The large canine has reptilian-like fangs that would belong to a dragon. And the canine has long sharp vicious claws that would belong to a dragon. It has a long fluffy tail. The large canine looks at the Volders. The large canine licks its lips. The large dog charges at the small dragons with intent to devour the Volders. The Volders try to defend themselves. They shoot their explosive ball at the giant dog. When the explosive ball exploded in the dog's face, this explosive caused a smoke screen as the smoke cleared. The dingo raptor is unharmed. The dog then pounces on the Volder, ripping apart the small dragons. The dog sinks its razor-sharp jaws into a Volder, ripping its throat out. One of the dragons try to run away. The large dog seeing one of its prey trying to escape from its breakfast. The dingo raptor raises its paw. The dog brings its paw down stabbing the Volder in its spine. The dog then bites off the Volder's head. The dog then turns its head seeing 3 Volder also trying to escape. The dog then leap in the air landing on 2 of the Volder crushing their bodies. The dingo raptor then bite one of the Volders by the tail. The dog throws the Volder and then the large dog raised up on its hind legs. As the Volder falls, the large dog opens its large jaws shallowing the Volder whole. The dingo raptor would then continue to eat the dead core. When all the Volder were eaten, the dog then turn its attention towards Naruto. Its tail starts wagging in excitement. The dog would then bounce on its paws like its owner has just came back home. Naruto just sweatshops, you got to be kidding. The dog is domestic. Exclaim Naruto as the large dog walks over to Naruto licking Naruto's hand. Naruto then scratches. Behind the dog's ears the dog tail starts wagging. Naruto then dropped to his knee coughing some BLD, damn it I'm losing too much BLD, yelled Naruto. The dog then whimpers in sadness. Naruto then would point at the hole in the wall, get my bag, coughed out Naruto. Somehow the dog knew what Naruto wanted. The dog comes back with the Naruto's bag in its mouth. The dog then drops Naruto's bag in front of Naruto. The young fisherman opens his bag pulling out the 10 fire heart herb. Naruto would then rub the herbs over his injuries. As he does this his wounds slowly heal. CRP I'm still too weak, groaned Naruto. The dog understood its new friend. The dog would then pick Naruto up by his shirt. The dog would then throw Naruto over him. The dog would then walk back inside the damaged house. The dog then would throw Naruto on the couch. The young blonde stomach then growls in hunger, ugh I'm so hungry. Groaned in hunger. Somehow the dog understood. Naruto left and a few minutes later came back with water peach, mango rum, limeberries, ambernut, and tropic lion wrapped in big cloth. Naruto smiles at the dingo raptor, you are one smart dog, said Naruto. The large canine puffs its chest out at the compliment. Naruto then chuckles at the dog. He then pats the dog on the head. Naruto then groans at the size of the hole in the wall. He knew he couldn't stay here long. He then slowly gets up gets on the dog's back. Hey boy, do you know anywhere we can stay? Cause I'm still weak and I need to rest, said Naruto. The large canine nods its head. They then travel to their new location. 30 minutes later they find a cave. Naruto gets off the dog and enters the cave. As Naruto looks around he sees the skeleton bodies of the people that once lived here. Naruto then searches around the cave and finds 10 tropic carrots, 15 angel mill, 15 fire heart herb, 10 grass brass, 14 blaze fairy horn, and 15 widow glass. Naruto smiles at this. He then finds a blanket and damaged pillow in the cave. He sets both of them down. The dog would then push the rock only letting a little light to come through. Naruto then closed his eyes about to go to sleep after the hard morning and fights that he just had left the young blonde exhausted. The large dog then walks next to Naruto. The dingo raptor then lies down next to Naruto curling up next to Naruto. The dog then licks Naruto's cheek, thus tickling the young blonde. "Come on Garm, or stop it," said Naruto. The large hound tilts its head. Naruto smirks at the name, Garm. I like that. In Norse mythology, Garm or Garm is a dog associated with both Hell and Ragnarok, and described as a blood-stained watchdog that guards Hell's Gate. "Do you like that name?" asked Naruto, looking at the large dog. The dingo raptor nods its head, and licking Naruto laughs at the excitement and happiness of the now-named Garm. Both Naruto and the now-named Garm fall asleep after a long hard morning. 5 days later. The days on Ravage Horn Island was hell. But whatever the island had thrown at the young hero, Naruto was able to dish it out, like the moment how he and Garm were trapped in the quicksand whirlpool. Flashback, 2 days later. Naruto and Garm have been traveling since the morning. Naruto had decided to get an early start on the day. Naruto is riding on his new pet Garm. He then feeds his dog mango rum. The dog barks happily, enjoying the juicy fruit. Naruto chuckled at his large canine. Naruto then brings a makeshift cup which looks like amber. This cup is made out of the amber from the dragon tail tree. As Naruto brings the cup to his mouth, the blonde savors the taste from the substance. Naruto then hums at the taste. "Dear Odin. This some good water peach," said Naruto as he smiles. He then whips some sweat from his head as the duo travel. The ground start to swirl into a whirlpool-like fashion. "A whirlpool? No, that can't be. Sht, it's a sandquick. Son of a yak, you got to be kidding, a quicksand whirlpool," groaned Naruto. "Garm, we got to hurry and get out," yelled Naruto with an angry expression. Garm bark in agreement. The dog turn around, trying to run away, or to be more accurate. Garm hooped away, not daring to run on the sand, but as the large dog leaps on the sand, Garm starts to sink within the sand. Garm growls in anger. Naruto groans in anger. He honestly hated this desert. He didn't just hate the desert, he hated the heat. Prd. Naruto then would bite his lip in frustration. "Sht, damn it, think," chanted Naruto, but suddenly Naruto feels tremors underneath him and Garm. Naruto would then groan at the upcoming trouble. Garm then raised his eyebrow as Naruto watches the tremors. He notices it's a shell swim around the quicksand whirlpool. Naruto then raises his eyebrow. "Is that a shell?" wondered Naruto. The shell then raises from the sand, rivaling it's a giant turtle. The giant sand turtle is around 200 feet 9 inches tall. The shell of the turtle had a diamond-like shape on the shell. There are swirl-like designs on the shell. The turtle has a long neck, being 4 feet long. The turtle's head had a Spinosaurus-like head, but still having the beak of a turtle. The turtle also had a long wide tail. It has long claws able to slice through a Viking ship. Turtle also had pear-colored eyes. The shell of the turtle is dark green and the scales of the turtles are dark red. Naruto and Garm have just stumbled upon one of the inhabitants of Ravage Horn Island, Tunnel Turtle. Naruto and Garm quickly hop on the giant turtle. Naruto pats the turtle on its back. "Thanks for saving us, turtle," exclaimed the happy Naruto. The giant turtle nods its head as the sand turtle swims through the quicksand whirlpool. Garm barks in happiness as being out of the quicksand. Flashback, present day. Naruto and Garm decided to stop and create a campsite to rest for the day, since both man and dog have been traveling all day discovering things and Naruto finding equipment and seeds of the plant life of the desert. But ever since a day ago, Naruto had felt like he's being watched. He honestly hopes whatever have been watching him isn't the Sandstorm Triton. But every time he looks to see what's staring at him, he doesn't see anything. But even when he's been watched by some creature, Garm growls in frustration at not able to see who's stalking him and his partner. But Naruto remember when he caught something and that something scared him. He couldn't see a body, but what he did see was 2 fire red yellow eyes staring at him, and if he had to be honest with himself, it felt like the devil-like eyes were piercing into his very soul. At that moment he was terrified, but just as he thought the mysterious creature would come out and show itself, the creature then disappeared. The last thing he heard from itself was the roaring sound, sounding like a cross between Indominus Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Velociraptor, and Spinosaurus. To say that horrifying sound didn't give him a nightmare would be a complete lie. He had nightmares within his nightmares of the roar of true death. He honestly hoped whatever those eyes belong to won't be planning to eat him or Garm. Naruto then shakes his head from the thought. He then grabs a stick and piercing it through some meat. This meat belonged to a desert bighorn sheep. After skinning the animal, Naruto then proceed to make dinner for man and dog. Naruto then starts cooking the meat. Naruto turns his head looking at Garm. He chuckles as the dog licks his lips, drooling at the delicious meat. Naruto chuckles at the dog. Naruto then pats his dog on the head. Suddenly they hear the sound of wings flapping. Naruto quickly gets up with his spear, ready for whatever wants to eat him. Garm gets in battle mode, growling, showing off his reptilian-like teeth. As both Naruto and Garm look in the sky awaiting their new challenge, they get treated to a flock of 10 birds. These weren't just any normal birds, sadly this was a dust talon. The bird is around 7 feet 10 inches. The bird feathers are silver in color, the talons are razor sharp enough to rip off someone's head and possibly a large full-grown bear. It also has a sharp black beak capable of piercing someone in half. And the giant bird has BLD red eyes. Naruto groans at the sight of the giant birds. Great, now it's giant birds. Naruto then lick his tongue. Whatever, let's do this, believe it, yelled Naruto, glaring at the dust talons. The birds then screech at Naruto and Garm, sounding like a cross between Zapdos and Kuwagaman. The dust talon quickly located Naruto and Garm, but that's not what they truly want. What they truly want is the meat. Naruto then starts to run. While this is going on, Garm is also running at the dust talons. Naruto raises his spear, throwing it at the dust talon, piercing the bird through the neck, cutting off the bird's head, separating the head from the body. The bird then screeches angry at one of its fallen members. It then swoops down, ready to tear Naruto apart. Naruto then grits his teeth at the bird, charging at Naruto, lifting him in the air. Naruto then grips onto the bird's head. He then reaches into his pocket, bringing out a makeshift knife made out of amber. Naruto stabs the dust talon in the eye. He then quickly stabs the bird's other eye. As the bird is fully blind, he then grabs onto the bird, building it to the floor. As Naruto gets close to the floor, he jumps off the bird. Naruto then rolls as he falls. Naruto then quickly runs to the dead dust talon. He then grabs his spear. Naruto turns his head, seeing Garm jump high in the air, biting onto the bird wings. As the two came crashing down, the bird breaks its wing at the hard fall. Garm then bite onto the bird's neck, breaking it. Garm turns his head, seeing a dust talon coming down, ready to kill Garm, but before the bird can kill the dog, Naruto uses his spear as a pole. As he sends himself flying in the air, he stabs the bird on the head, glaring at the now dead bird. Naruto then glares heatedly at the dead bird. Stupid bird. Garm, you okay? Yelled Naruto. He turned his head to Garm. The dog nods his head, smiling at Naruto. He then snarls at the bird circling around them. Naruto then smirks. You ready for round 2? Said Naruto. Garm then turns his head towards Naruto, showing his fangs. Naruto takes this as a smirk. Suddenly they hear a roar, but this wasn't just any normal roar. This is the roar from the mysterious creature. Naruto and Garm turn their heads, seeing a giant dragon, but Naruto doesn't know which dragon it is since it wasn't inside the book he found. The dragon is 12 feet 11 inches tall. The dragon had 2 tails. One of the tails had spikes on it, similar to a stegosaurus. The 2 tails are both 7 feet long. The dragon has black and dark orange scales. It has strong legs and arms capable of running, while the arms capable of grabbing its prey. The dragon's claws are incredibly sharp and powerful enough if you touch the claws it would cut you. The massive dragon also has 4 wings. The wingspan of the dragon is 8 feet 3 inches long on each wing. It has long sharp talons. On its back, the large dragon has quills on its back. It also has quills on top of its head. The dragon has fire red yellow eyes. The teeth of the dragon has sharp fangs resembling that of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the dragon has 2 long horns on his head. On its jawline it has 3 horns. As the dragon lands on the sand, it exhales its breath. The dragon then shoots lava shots at the remaining dust talon. As this happened, Naruto had his mouth drop to the ground, unable to believe that the same creature that had following him and Garm. Naruto then gets scared when the fearsome turn its head around, looking at Naruto with its devil eyes. Naruto is now nervous at the dragon facing him. He then hears Garm growling at the dragon but dares not to do anything. As the dragon stares at Naruto, it tilts its head, not fully understanding why this human is here, since the last time it saw humans was 20 years ago. The dragon starts to walk to Naruto. The dragon then leans its head just as Naruto might think the dragon is going to eat him. The dragon picks up one of the birds and starts to eat it. Well, I didn't see that coming, said Naruto, having a sweat drop as he watches the dragon eats the birds. Naruto turns his head, looking at the lava shots. He notices the glass has become glass. He stares at it for a long while until he feels breathe. He looks around with dragon having the rest of the dead birds in front of him. Naruto raises his eyebrow. You want me to cook this, don't you? Asked the deadpan Naruto. The lava dragon nods its head. Naruto then sighs loudly. Alright, I guess we're having sheep and bird this afternoon, laughed Naruto. Naruto then skinned all the birds. After that he starts cooking up the birds. Hours later, all the food ready to eat. The three of them are now ready to eat their now dinner since skinning and cooking all the birds took hours. Naruto happily eats the sheep. He turns his head seeing Garm and the dragon happily eating the bird. After Naruto finished his food, he took out of his dragon book and start drawing the mysterious dragon. To dragon intrigued him. He never saw anything like it, and the dragon blue lava not fire. He's just happy the dragon hasn't decided to eat him or Garm. But Naruto couldn't doubt that this dragon is scary, but this dragon is nowhere scary as Blackheart. Blackheart DMN straight terrifying hell. When I first met Blackheart it gave me nightmares, but I knew Blackheart won't do anything to me, said a smirking Naruto as he watches the dragon eat his food. After the dragon and K9 have finished their food, the K9 then walks over to Naruto. Naruto raises his left eyebrow at Garm. What is it, boy? Asked Naruto. Garm then lays down on Naruto. Naruto then grunts at the weight of Garm laying on his legs. Naruto then pats Garm on the head. He looks up at Naruto enjoying being petted. He looks Naruto's chin. Naruto then chuckles at the dragon. Naruto then notices the dragon walks over to them. The dragon lays down wrapping its body around Naruto. Naruto snuggles into the dragon. He notices the dragon is warm. Naruto smiles at this, so the mysterious dragon can warm its body up. That's pretty useful, thought Naruto. He then closes eyes going to sleep. Next day, Naruto and Garm are traveling north. After reading through the book he finds out there's a water source close by, but the only problem is they have to worry about Grande Stone Blueback Crab. He knew there were other water sources, but from what he heard those water sources are more like tiny water puddle. Plus the water source guarded by Grande Stone Blueback Crab is the closest one. Naruto and Garm are on the dragon. They are flying in the sky. Garm has his tongue out enjoying the breeze of the wind hitting his face, while Naruto smiles at the breeze in air. But Naruto is also deep in thought. The reason for this is because Naruto is thinking of what to name the species the dragon is. He knew it's a Stoker class dragon. He just need to come up with a name for the dragon. Naruto then sighs loudly. I wonder how Blackheart is going to react when she sees this dragon with me, said Naruto. He then chuckles loudly. Well, at least when I leave this island I will have one awesome story, laughed Naruto. Naruto then goes back to thinking of the dragon's name. He then gains a Httyd eating grin. I think I know what name to give your species. How does Volcanixorus sounds like? Asked the dragon. The dragon nods its head enjoying the name, Volcanixorus it is. Now I just need to think of a name for you, buddy. I got it. How about Burst Fong, said Naruto. He watches the dragon facial features. The dragon then nods his head smirking showing Naruto its fangs. Burst Fong it is. Now I'm thirsty. How about you guys? Asked Naruto. Garm barks in agreement while the now named Burst Fong roars showing a sigh. It too agrees with his now partner. The now named Burst Fong hurries up to the water surface location. It didn't take Burst Fong long. 5 minutes later they make it to the water source. To say Naruto wasn't shocked would be a lie. He was DMN straight surprised. What the hell, this is the water source. This is enough to be a large lake, yelled Naruto as he looks at the large lake. Burst Fong flies down. Garm jumps down staring at the lake. Naruto jumps down with his spear in his hand. Okay, I'm here, but how do I get this crab to come out? Wondered Naruto. He then looks around searching for something to gain the crab's attention. Something catches Naruto's eyes, a couple of rock. He then starts throwing rocks into the water. He didn't have to wait long for the Grande Stone Blueback Crab. The crab cones out the lake stretching loudly, sounds like a mixture of nails on a chalkboard and a dying rhino. The crab is over 120 feet 10 inches tall. The crab gas 8 legs. The armor of the crabs looks like it's made out of stone. The crab has 6 red eyes, it has 4 claws, and the crab is navy blue, white, black, and yellow. Naruto groans at the giant crab, son of Odin's beard. This is going to be harder than I thought, said Naruto as the crab glares at Naruto. Naruto then swings his spear around glaring back at the crab. This time I'm hunting, not be hunting, stated Naruto. He then runs at the Grande Stone Blueback with intent to kill. The crab slams its claw down. Naruto quickly stabs the crab. He then uses his spear as a launch board. He then looks left seeing the crab trying to cut him in half. Naruto narrowly dodges the attack. He then pulls out a knife made out of the Valder's claws. He throws it at the crab's eye, blinding one of its eye. The beast screams in pain, throwing Naruto in the air. Burst Fang catches Naruto. Naruto pats Burst Fang on his head. "Thanks pal, we need to get that spear through. Come in buddy, I have an idea," said Naruto. They then fly around the crab, but when the crab was going to hit the duo with his claw, Burst Fang shot a lava blast at the claw, melting the claw. This caused the crab to scream in pain. It then smacked Naruto and Burst Fang with the stump on its claw, sending Naruto flying off of Burst. But as Naruto was falling, he landed on the crab's claw. He ripped it off, causing the crab to get angry. But Garm quickly scales the crab. It then jumps high in the air. Naruto jumps on Garm. The two then scale up to the crab, avoid the claws. The crab then gets angry at Naruto. It then opens its mouth, shooting a water blast at Naruto and Garm. This shocked Naruto. Sht, yelled Naruto, but Garm narrowed his eyes. He then speeds up. The large canine jumps and swirls its body, avoiding the water blast. The dog doesn't stop. Now the duo is avoiding water shots. Naruto then smirks at Garm. "Garm, you are amazing," yelled Naruto. Garm barks in happiness, enjoying the praise. Garm then launches himself on his high legs. Garm then claws out two of the eyes. Naruto jumps off of Garm, cutting of the crab's eye, leaving the crab with one eye. But before the crab can do anything, Burst Fang comes flying down, digging its claws into its back, cracking its shell. The crab collapses. When it falls on the ground, the Volcanixorus pins it on the ground. Garm then raises a claw, crushing its head. Naruto then smiles at the defeat of the crab. He then goes into his bag, pulling out a few water containers. He then fills them up. He then puts them away. He turns his head, noticing Garm and Burst Fang drinking water. Naruto then turns his attention back to the giant dead crab. Naruto then shakes the back of his head. "Okay, it's dead, but how in Odin's beard am I going to bring it back?" wondered Naruto. He then looks behind himself, seeing the Volcanixorus eating fish from the lake. He then gains an idea. "Hey Burst Fang, I have an idea," said Naruto. Burst Fang tittles his head. He turns his head, looking at Naruto with a large fish in his mouth. Burst Fang then eats his fish. "Do you think you can cut the claws and legs off in pieces?" asked Naruto. Burst Fang nods his head. He then walks towards the dead crab. He raises his claws. He then cuts off the claws and legs into multiple pieces. Naruto walks over to Burst Fang, pats on it on the leg. "Nice on buddy, you sure are amazing," said Naruto. Burst Fang then puffs out his chest at Naruto, praising him. Suddenly the two hear a roar. Both Naruto and Burst Fang look at where they heard the roar. They both turn around, seeing Garm growling at another animal. But this wasn't any normal animal. This was the steel-gained Sabertooth. The Sabertooth has silver fur with dark gray stripes going across its fur. The Sabertooth tiger has golden brown eyes. The tiger also has 3 tails. The tiger has long sharp claws. The tiger has 2 long fangs, and the tiger is 7 feet 8 inches tall. Naruto then sweat drops at the Sabertooth and Garm. "Well, I guess Garm and this steel-gained Sabertooth are just like a dog and cat," said Naruto. He then groans as he watches, as both Garm and steel-gained Sabertooth growling at each other. Naruto just sighs. "I Garm leave that DMN Sabertooth alone," ordered Naruto. Garm then growls angry at the Sabertooth. The Sabertooth then walks over to the other side, drinking from the lake. Garm then walks over to Naruto. Garm then gets up on his legs, hugging Naruto. He then laughs. Naruto then scratches Game behind the ear. Garm looks up at Naruto. He then starts to lick Naruto faces. Naruto laughs. Down boy," said Naruto. Garm then gets down, petting Garm on the head. Suddenly they heard a loud, terrifying roar, sounds like a Spinosaurus and a blue eyes white dragon. Naruto then hears growling from Burst Fang. He turns his head to the horrifying sound and he sees a dragon. The dragon is 60 feet 12 inches tall. The dragon has purple-red eyes. The dragon has tan and white scales. The dragon head looks like Slifer the sky dragon and has the same fangs. It has the body of an European dragon on the arms, legs, and backs of the dragon. It has spike plates. The dragon has a long tail. It also has fins on it. And the dragon has long blades like claws. Sadly, Naruto has just ran into the Sandstorm Triton. The Sandstorm Triton then growls at Naruto, Burst Fang, and Garm with its angry-like eyes. The Sandstorm Triton then blows sand out of its nose in anger. The dragon opens its mouth. Iron starts to form in the dragon mouth. It then shoots a large iron blast. Naruto grits his teeth at seeing the iron blast. Naruto rolls left while Garm runs left and Burst Fang takes to the sky. He then roars at the Sandstorm Triton in anger. The Sandstorm Triton roars in anger, its eyes glowed bright. The iron dust and sand start move, the sand and iron then form a huge dust cloud swirling around. They then separate into 3 pillars of sand and iron. The Sandstorm Triton then commands the dust to go after Naruto, Garm, and Burstfang. With Naruto. Naruto is shocked at the wave of sand and iron heading towards him. Son of AB. Yelled Naruto. He then runs, he then pulls out a amber rope, he jumps onto the Sabertooth. The tiger starts to thrash around. Naruto quickly wraps the rope around the Sabertooth's jaw. Naruto quickly leads the Sabertooth away from the dust that's chasing him. Sadly, the Sabertooth wasn't able to outrun the dust. As the shark comes closer, it transforms to a wave of sand and iron. It wraps around both of the Sabertooth's legs. This caused Naruto to fly off of the Sabertooth, making Naruto land face first into the ground. Naruto then grunts in pain. He slowly gets up, spitting out the sand. Naruto then turns his head and he's incredibly shocked. The sand and iron wraps around the Sabertooth. Naruto watches as the sand and iron crush the Steel-Gain Sabertooth. This attack caused the Steel-Gain Sabertooth to howl in pain as the bones of the Steel-Gain Sabertooth gets crushed. When the scream dies down, the only thing left of the Steel-Gain Sabertooth is the BLD, holy CRP. If I got caught in that attack I would have died, said Naruto. Naruto then runs away from the wave of sand and iron. Damn it, I can't run away from the sand. Ugh, I seriously hate this DMN island, said Naruto as he narrowly dodges the wave. The sand of iron then start to transform its shape again. The wave of sand and iron then transform into a giant tendril. Naruto then groans, "You got to be kidding me," yelled Naruto. He then runs like his life depends on it. Which in reality it does. Naruto looks behind him, seeing the tendril about to piece him. Naruto jump left, narrowly missed the tendril, but sadly he wasn't able to completely dodge it. Naruto then falls to the ground, gripping his shoulder in pain. He looks at his shoulder. He then notices there's wide gash along his shoulder. Naruto struggles to get up. He goes to the only place that's actually safe for the young blonde, the lake. Damn it, that attack really messed up my shoulder. If that wasn't bad enough, I have sand in my bleeding shoulder, snarled Naruto. I need to get to the water, it's the only place where I'm safe, groaned Naruto as he picks himself up, heading towards the lake. The tendril then transforms back to a wave. The wave crashes down, sending Naruto face first in the lake. With Garm. Garm dodges the multiple sand iron tendrils, but lucky for Garm he's a lot faster than Naruto. As the multiple tendrils try to rip Garm apart, he dodges swiftly, avoiding the sand attacks. The multiple tendrils then land in front of Garm, creating a smoke screen. The tendrils then merge into the ground, but Garm doesn't let his guard down. He and the rest of the animals knew not to allow their guard down, being around the Sandstorm Triton. Ever since all these years ago when the Sandstorm Triton appeared, all of them were forced to adapt, and that's what both Garm and Burstfang had to do. But luckily for Garm, he was born on the island, but none of the animals dared going up against the Sandstorm Triton. Garm watches as the sand and iron transformed into a sand and octopus, but before the sand can attack Garm, a huge wave of magma hit the octopus. The octopus then turns into glass. Garm looks up and sees Burstfang flying down. Garm hops onto Burstfang's back. Burstfang then circles around in the sky. He then snarls when 5 sand iron spikes shot from the ground. Burstfang swiftly dodges the spikes. Burstfang growls. He then roars loudly as a sand iron tendril headed for him. As he yells, the tendrils turn into hard glass. The Sandstorm Triton growls and angry at the trio. The large dragon didn't think the dingo raptor or human was able to be alive, but it knew the Volcanixorus could survive its attacks. The Sandstorm Triton opens his mouth. Sand particles start to form in its mouth. The Sandstorm Triton then shoots hundreds of sand spikes at Burstfang. Burstfang growls in anger at the Sandstorm Triton. He opens his mouth wide. He then shots a huge lave blast. Both sand and lava meet, trying to gain advantage of each other. The sand from the ground rises from the ground, meeting the huge lava blast, but Burstfang doesn't give up for Dems. Burstfang then moves his tail above his head. Both tails glowed bright orange. Both of his tails shot lava and manga. Both the Volcanixorus and the Sandstorm Triton fight for dominance. While this is going on, Garm is shocked at the raw power of both lava and sand. When both dragons stop their dems for power in middle of both dragons the sand have turned into black sand. Both dragons growl and roar at each other. In the lake Naruto has just watched the dragon and he was amazed he could tell Burstfang was strong but the Sandstorm Triton was stronger. So this is the fearsome Sandstorm Triton. It's hard to believe such a powerful fearsome dragon exists. If he exists then maybe there's others like him. Said Naruto. He then starts swimming back to shore. As he does this both dragons are watching Naruto but Naruto did or stand on the dry sand full well knowing the Sandstorm Triton can control the sand. The Sandstorm Triton then growls at Naruto in angry wanting nothing but the human's death. The dragon then turns his towards Burstfang. The Sandstorm Triton opens its mouth shooting a sand tidal wave. Garm jumps off of Burstfang. He then makes his way to Naruto. Naruto then run to Garm. He then stabs his spear into the ground launching himself off the ground. Naruto lands on Garm. Garm let's go, yelled Naruto. The two then hurry and run away from the sand tidal wave. As the sand tidal waves start coming closer Burstfang opens his mouth. He then shoots his own lava wave. This reaction caused a giant black sand wave. Burstfang then exhales a large gust of volcanic smoke. He then flies down sweeping Naruto and Garm off the ground. He then grabs the crab legs and claws. Okay guys, it's time to leave this island and head back to Berk, said Naruto. He then groans in pain. He turns his head noticing Garm wagging his tail happily. But back with Sandstorm Triton the dragon then roars in anger at its prey escaping from him. It has been 4 years since Naruto and Blackheart had traveled to Ravage Horn Island while Naruto brought the Volcanixorus Burstfang and the Dingo Raptor Gamma with him. The now group of 4 had been on tons of adventure, some fun others dangerous, well most were dangerous. While everything in Berk hasn't changed, that couldn't be the same for Naruto since he has 2 dragons now, but the only one who knows this as well Naruto. He didn't even tell his dad or uncle but everyone knew of Gamma since the large canine was a house train. One of the things that have changed is him and Ruffnut dating. Last year he'd asked Ruffnut to be his girlfriend. But today is just a normal day for the people of Berk. While everyone was enjoying their day a certain teen was in anger at being the target of Naruto's pranks. Naruto, yelled Snotlout as he was covered in honey, squid ink, and chicken feathers. Over the 4 years Naruto has changed his clothes. He now wears a black short-sleeve shirt, he wears a chain-mail long-sleeved shirt underneath it, white fur-like arm warmers. He stopped wearing the Viking helmet and just allows his spiky blonde hair to be free from any headgear. On his left and right shoulder he has a spiked steel shoulder blades, black fingerless gloves, and brown pants and white fur-like boot. Not only has Naruto gained 2 more partners but he found out Blackheart was jealous that he had another dragon. Naruto couldn't help himself to sigh at the fact the Fearless and Nightmares of the Sea is jealous that he got another dragon. Even though Naruto has 2 dragons no one really knows well due to the fact they would throw spears and ask questions later. He hasn't even told Hiccup or Ruffnut, and that's saying something due to Hiccup being Naruto's best friend and Ruffnut Naruto's girlfriend. Usually Naruto would be busy with fishing. He was afar with Gamma by his side watching Snotlout looking like a giant chicken. The blonde was too busy laughing his butt off to notice a shadow looming above him. The mysterious person wraps their hands around Naruto's face. The person leans their face into Naruto's ears. Guess who, Foxy? Teased the person. Naruto smiles at the person behind him. Is it Freya? Asked Naruto in a teasing tone. The person behind him grin had become larger. Maybe, said the person. The mysterious figure then leaned into his face. Both the Vikings could feel each other's hot breath. The mysterious uncovered their hands reviling the 14-year-old Ruffnut grinning at Naruto with a mischievous grin. She catches Naruto's lips with her own. The female blonde into Naruto's lips. No matter how many times they've kissed it always feels great. Naruto pulls away. He smiles at the pleasant dazed look in her eyes. Naruto turns around and lifts Ruffnut and places her on his lap. The pig-tailed Viking lets out a small eep. She then turns to Naruto. Hey Ruffnut, I thought you and Toughnut had to clean the yaks, asked Naruto. Ruffnut smiles back at Naruto. Oh we did but I ditched him, it was rad, said Ruffnut nodding to herself. Naruto chuckled at this. He wasn't really surprised since those two would always ditch one of the other to get out of chores. Naruto couldn't blame her, he would do the same thing if he was in her place. The blonde fisherman then feels extra weight on his shoulder. He turns his head seeing his somewhat dim-witted girlfriend leaning her head against Naruto's shoulder. Naruto smiles down at the female blonde. He then mentally sighs to himself, ugh, sooner or later I'm going to have to tell Ruffnut I have 2 dragons. I just don't know how to do that with her fear of dragons, plus I'm pretty sure she would scream and faint seeing Blackheart and Burstfang. I might have been able to keep Blackheart and Burstfang a secret for 4 years, but I'll either have to tell her and everyone or be found out. But sure, telling Ruffnut will be easy. Oh hey Ruffnut, I want you to meet Blackheart and Burstfang, who are a Doomfang and Volcanixorus, thought Naruto with a huge amount of sarcasm, which you can almost see. The blonde then thinks back when he returned to Berk after escaping Ravage Horn and the Sandstorm Triton. Flashback 4 years ago. After escaping the island, Naruto smiles when he sees Berk from the distance. Naruto then turns to Burstfang and Blackheart. Blackheart, Burstfang, hide, everyone would freak out if they saw you too, especially you Blackheart, said Naruto. Each of Blackheart's heads growled in agreement. She then dives into the ocean while Burstfang flies off. Naruto then smiles at Gamma. Gamma, this is your new home, said Naruto with a smile. Gamma barks happily with his tail wagging side to side. While Naruto gets closer and closer at home, he suddenly hears yelling from Berk. Naruto stands up and narrows his eyes. He then sees his dad, Uncle Bucket, Ruffnut, Astrid, Goober, Stoic, Toughnut, and everyone at the pier waiting for him. He smiles widely. Someone must have saw my ship coming and informed me, said Naruto with a wide grin. He waves back at them with a grin. Gamma barks happily and licks Naruto's whispered cheek. Naruto turns his attention to his large dog. I take it you're gonna like it here, huh, buddy? Asked Naruto with a smile. Gamma then let out a loud bark which Naruto took as a yes. It's going to be fun here, believe it, yelled Naruto. The blonde then continued to roll to Berk. Once he makes it back to Berk, everyone is shocked at Naruto since he very large animal pieces, but Stoic, Mulch, Bucket, and Goober are more shocked since Thry didn't believe Naruto would come back with so much, and they didn't accept him to come back with a dingo raptor. The 3 men's mouth jaw drop except for Bucket, who was just happy that his nephew was finally back. The large Bucket wearing Viking ran up to Naruto and gave him a near bone-crushing hug, causing Naruto to groan in pain at the bear hug. Naruto, I missed so much, exclaimed Bucket as he gives B Blonde a bone-crushing hug. Naruto then pats Bucket on the back. It's okay Uncle B Bucket that I'm here, now can you let me go, I need to breathe, groaned Naruto as his face starts changing colors. Bucket then drops Naruto on his, but he rubs the back of his head. I'm sorry Naruto, I just really missed you, said Bucket rubbing the back of his bucket. Stoic and Mulch face palm. I don't believe it, he really did it, said Stoic in disbelief as he stares at all the various food on Naruto's boat. Goober massages his beard. Well, slap me silly and call me Fenrir. The kid actually did, he did what we weren't able to do, said Goober with bewilderment expression. Mulch looked at his son in shock. Naruto, you actually did it, said Mulch in shock as he stares at his son who's grinning at Goober. Naruto turns towards his father with a wide grin. The blonde fisherman then places both hands on his hip. Of course I did, I'm Naruto, the world's greatest fisherman, believe it, yelled Naruto, causing everyone to cheer loudly for the blonde child. Naruto then notices his best friend / surrogated brother. He grins at the skinny brunette. Hey Hiccup, it's good to see you, said Naruto. Hiccup smiles in agreement. He also missed his best friend. Hey Naruto, same here. It's been quite here too, said Hiccup with a grin. He then looks towards Mulch. Hey Mulch, what did you abd my dad mean when you said you can't believe Naruto did it? Asked Hiccup with a raised eyebrow looking at his father. Stoic sighs to himself. He then turns to his Hiccup. Son, the island Naruto went to was extremely dangerous. The very island is filled with creatures, dragons, and plants that are trying to kill you. When Mulch, Bucket, Goober, and myself went to that island we almost died, said Stoic. He then takes off the glove on his right hand, revealing his 4th-degree burned hand, and this was caused by a small dragon that can shoot exploding orbs, said Stoic. He then puts his leather glove back on. Snotlout snorts and waves his nonchalantly. I bet I can survive that island, declared Snotlout with no visible hint of fear. Goober just stared at Snotlout with a deadpanned expression. I lost my leg to the same little spitfire and we were only there for 4 minutes until literally everything tried to eat or kill us, said Goober gaining a shock expression. If everything on the island trying to kill us weren't bad enough, the island itself was dangerous. Ask my son, he knows, said Mulch. Everyone looks at Naruto and the blonde child nods his head in agreement. Naruto then sees Toothless and a blushing Ruffnut walking towards Toothless, then punches Naruto on the shoulder, causing Httyd blonde fisherman to chuckle and punches Toothless back. "So, you were able to live on that island for a few days?" asked a curious Toothless as he stares at Naruto, who's leaning against his spear. Naruto nods his head. Toothless grins at Naruto. He extends his fist to Naruto and Naruto gives Toothless a fist pump. "That's so awesome," yelled Toothless with a giant grin which is ready to split his face apart. Naruto just snorted at his blonde friend. "Yeah, if you like having to be on the run for all day and sleep on the hard-hit sand," said Naruto in a sarcastic tone. Astrid then smirks at Naruto. "If you can survive that island, I bet I can. After all, if you can do so, can I? But better," sobbed Astrid in an almost challenging tone. Naruto just scoffed at Astrid. "Have fun doing that when you run into the Sandstorm, Triton," said Naruto. Literally everyone, and including Stoic, Mulch, Bucket, and Goober, raised an eyebrow. "What's the Sandstorm, Triton?" asked Astrid. Naruto sighs to himself. "The Sandstorm, Triton, is the dragon that literally controls the island. The dragon literally controls sand, and from what I've read from the book, from that island it used to be a lush green vibrate island full of life," said Naruto, leaving everyone shocked. "So, what? You're saying the dragon changed a lush island into a desert that is covered with sand?" asked Goober with a raised eyebrow. Naruto nods his head. "That's exactly what I'm saying," said Naruto, shocking everyone since they had no idea such dragon exist. Naruto then turns to Ruffnut, who smiles at him with a small smile. "Hey, Naruto. It was boring without you here pranking Snotlout, and everyone wasn't as fun," said Ruffnut. She then stares into his blue eyes, almost feeling like she can drown by just staring into his eyes. Naruto smiles back at her. "I missed you too, and now I'm back," said Naruto with a small smile. Ruffnut smiles softly at Naruto. She missed her blonde friend. During the days he left, Ruffnut had felt her feelings for the blonde fisherman. At first she thought she had ate something that messed her stomach. She then realized she missed Naruto, but not as a friend but as someone she liked, and it seemed like what Astrid said was true. She does have a crush on the blonde fisherman known as Naruto. As Ruffnut stares at her crush, she flung herself at Naruto. This caught Naruto by surprise, not accepting the girl who's pledged his mind since he was on Ravage Horn Island. Hell, he still remembers the feeling of Ruffnut's soft lips. Just like Ruffnut, Naruto had noticed he's quite attracted to the blonde pigtailed Viking. While most people would argue him and Astrid would make a good couple, Naruto just couldn't see himself being with Astrid. He saw her more as a friend and rival to him. The only girl he truly wants is Ruffnut. As Ruffnut wraps her arms around Naruto's neck and buries her head into his neck, Naruto wraps his arms around her waist. He then takes in her scent, causing Naruto to smile. "I missed you, Foxy," whispered Ruffnut. Naruto then allows a small owl to graze his face. "I missed you too, Ruffnut," said Naruto as the two hug each other. They ignore awes and catcalls coming from Snotlout and Toothless. Mulch smiles at his son. "They grow up so fast, don't they, Stoic?" asked Mulch as he wipes away a lone tear. Stoic nods his head. "That they do, my friend, but you shouldn't worry too much. They still have some learning to do," said Stoic as he places his hand on Mulch's shoulder. Astrid smirks at the two blondes. "I knew they'd get together," said a smirking Astrid. Flashback end. "I honestly dread the day when I have to tell Ruffnut about Blackheart and Burstfong." Luckily everyone took the news of Gamma quite well. But then again, Gamma isn't a dragon but a dog, thought Naruto. He then unconsciously scratches Gamma behind his ears while Naruto was scratching his pet/partner/hunting dog. Ruffnut smiles at his spaced out expression. Ruffnut grins at Naruto. She just couldn't help but think he's out when he spaces out at times. But he's so hot when he gets serious. Mama likes her man when he gets in the zone. He especially becomes a hottie when we're fishing. I still don't understand how he was able to catch a small family of octopus and squid a month ago, but I don't care, thought Ruffnut. She then gets into a daze and almost dream-like gaze as she stares at Naruto's whiskers. For some reason Naruto's unique whiskered birthmarks and eyes had always drew her, and she didn't know. It's just every time she stared at his whiskers or eyes she felt herself drawn to them. Ruffnut unconsciously reaches for his whiskers as if something is pulling her hand towards his whiskers. "Pet. Foxy's whiskers," mumbled Ruffnut as she starts to pet his whiskers, but this action had caused Naruto to snap out. "Odi his days. He then purrs at the feeling of his whiskered birthmarks being pet. Naruto didn't know why, he just knows when someone would rub his whiskers it would feel like the most amazing feeling in the world, but he would only allow Ruffnut to rub his whiskers. If anyone had even attempted to touch his whiskers, that person would receive the infamous Naruto punch. Naruto turns his head looking at his girlfriend rubbing his whiskers. A sly grin appears on her face. "You really are a foxy, aren't you?" asked Ruffnut with a hint of taunt. Naruto grins at Ruffnut showing off his fangs. "I'll show you, foxy," said Naruto. He then tackles Ruffnut as the two roll around. Naruto then lands on top of Ruffnut with Ruffnut on bottom staring into his blue eyes. Naruto leans into her with both of their faces inches away from each other just as she believes Naruto is going to kiss her, but instead Naruto licks her lips to her nose. Ruffnut lets out a soft giggle. She then smirks in a sly-like tone at Naruto. "Is Foxy being KNKY or is this a new way of kissing?" "I like it," declared Ruffnut with a hint of teasing and excitement with a red blush across her cheeks. Naruto just hums to himself. He then grins back at Ruffnut looking into her eyes. "May babe," trailed Naruto, "but I could kiss you like that or I could kiss you like this," said Naruto. He lightly grabs her chin and presses his lips against hers, which causes Ruffnut to in joy. She didn't know how, but somehow Naruto always knows how to put her putty in his hands. Usually the dim-witted female Viking would punch any man's lights for even trying to have her under their control, but when it came to Naruto she was perfectly fine with him in control at moments like this. Ruffnut licks his lip asking for access. He opens his mouth allowing her wet tongue to probe the inside of his mouth. Naruto wraps his built arms around her waist. Ruffnut in Naruto's mouth. She then unconsciously brings her slender arms around his neck, bringing Naruto closer to her. Ruffnut then uses her tongue to lick and grind her teeth against his tongue and teeth. The two get so into their makeout they literally block out everything around them. Naruto skillfully uses his tongue grind against the blonde in front of him. He then growls into her mouth, causing Ruffnut to let out a Naruto then lowers his hands towards her developing round plum bottom, causing Ruffnut's cheeks to become a dark crimson. She just couldn't believe how good Naruto is. "Dear Odin. He's so good," thought a very turned on Ruffnut as she unconsciously grinds her bottom against Naruto PP. She could almost feel the warmth from his lower organ through his pants, but before the two can even continue their intense and very heated makeout session, the two felt the need for oxygen both release from each other, breathing heavily with drool coming down from each of their mouths. Ruffnut looks up at Naruto with a lust-dazed expression. "That was awesome," panted a blushing Ruffnut. Naruto, who's also breathing, smirks at his girlfriend. "Yeah, it was, believe it." "So which kisses do you prefer?" asked Naruto as he wipes Aussie the drool from his mouth. Ruffnut whole noti lights up. She looks down at her shoes as if they are the most interesting thing in all of Berk. "The second one, Natuto," said Ruffnut in a meek tone. Naruto chuckles at his girlfriend and kisses her on the lips. "More?" demanded Ruffnut in an almost meek-like tone. The blonde fisherman found himself realizing how cute Ruffnut is in her meek tone. Naruto grants her wish, kissing her on the lips with a chaste kiss. He brings his fave away, staring at Ruffnut's blushing face. "More?" demanded Ruffnut in a meek tone. Naruto kisses her again. This action had been going on for at least 10 minutes while both Viking and fisherman are sucking each face as Gamma was chasing a cat. Both blondes turn around laughing at the large canine. Ruffnut then smiles at Naruto. She then looks at the ground with an unsure expression. Naruto raises his eyebrow at seeing Ruffnut looking down at the ground with a conflicted expression. "What's wrong, Ruffnut?" asked Naruto with concerned tone. Ruffnut could feel his eyes gazing into her skull. I have to tell you something, Naruto," said Ruffnut. Naruto blinks his eyes. He then nods guy's head. "Okay, what is it?" "You know you can tell me anything, right?" said Naruto as he grabs onto her hand, gripping it tightly, causing her to gain a light pink blush on her cheeks. Ruffnut nods her head. "Okay, Naruto. Me and Ruffnut have been admitted to Goober's academy," said Ruffnut. Naruto then dug his finger into his ear, not sure if he heard. "Wait, I'm Ruffnut, can you repeat that? I think I heard you wrong," said a confused Naruto, wondering if he heard his blonde dim-witted girlfriend right. Ruffnut then stares at a trail of ants as if it is the most interesting thing. "I have to go to Goober's academy," muttered Ruffnut. Naruto then takes a deep breath and exhales heavily. "Please tell me I didn't just hear you. Ruffnut, Thorson and your brother are going to Goober's dragon slaying school where you have to fight dragons." "Again you, Ruffnut, who's afraid of dragons?" questioned Naruto. He didn't know if this was a joke, but if it was, it wasn't a good one. Hearing Ruffnut learning to kill dragons is as laughable as Astrid wearing a dress or Mildew being a nice kind man. Ruffnut look up at Naruto with her blue eyes becoming a glossy blue. Our dad is making us go. He says it's around the time we should learn how to kill a dragon, said Ruffnut in a surprisedly shy tone. Ruffnut then watches as Naruto lays on the grass and grumbles. Does your stomach hurt? Asked Ruffnut with an idiotic expression. Ugh, this sucks. I want to spend more time with my girlfriend, complained Naruto. He then quickly rises from the ground catching Ruffnut off guard. Wait. When do you enter the Kraken's lair? Asked Naruto. He then pets the top of Gamera's head. The large canine wags his tail happily. Ruffnut giggles at the fisherman. She then scratches the side of her head with a thinking expression. I think in 12 weeks. Why? Asked Ruffnut as she digs her finger into her ear removing the earwax. Naruto grins at Ruffnut. She smiles back at him not knowing why the adopted child of Mulch is grinning like he's about to prank Snotlout so hard the god of mischief would be proud. That's great, grinned Naruto showing his canine-like fangs to the pigtails Viking. Cool. Why is that great? Asked Ruffnut with happy-go-lucky smile. Naruto just smiled at his dim-witted girlfriend. Some people might find her dim-wittedness annoying but Naruto learned to accept her, plus she found her dim-wittedness and bright attitude cute. This is great because we get to spend time together before you entered the realm of the accursed, exclaimed Naruto. Ruffnut giggles at Naruto's description of Goober's school. She then gets in his personal space with both of their noses touching. She then grins widely at Naruto. Then how about you come to Goober's school? Then we can hang out more, stated Ruffnut. Naruto just gave her a deadpan expression. No, said Naruto in a flat tone, not even affected by the pout on her face. But why? Yelled Ruffnut pressing her forehead against his very own. Sure, she wanted Naruto to join Goober's class, thus meaning the two of them can even spend more time than they usually do. Plus having Naruto there would make class more enjoyable. Naruto just rolled his eyes at the blonde female. I'd rather babysit Mildew, said Naruto with a blank expression. Besides, there's no way in the 7 seas he would ever go to Goober's academy. He would rather be grounded than spend his time learning how to kill dragons. Sure, over the years he has killed various of dragons because it was either be eaten or fight. So spending his time in a class doesn't sound enjoyable. Besides, he was a fisherman at first and Viking last. And he didn't want to spend his time to kill his dragon. After all, he has always felt at peace when at sea. Even his father and uncle had told him even as an infant he loved the ocean. Even to this day he enjoys being in the ocean. He never truly understood why he feels so at free when he's on his boot. But the blonde-haired fisherman didn't really care why he liked fishing. He actually never truly thought about his luck when he's out fishing. While pranking and annoying Snotlout and Astrid does sound entertaining, that doesn't mean he wants to go to school. Please, whined Ruffnut. No way, said a dejected Naruto. But it'll be fun, howled Ruffnut while she yelled right in his face. She accidentally spits all over his face. She chuckles nervously as his face is covered in her face. Naruto's eyebrow twitches as he feels her salvia hit his face. He then wipes off the salvia from his face with his sleeve. Okay, first gross, and 2 no. I'm not going, said Naruto. Ruffnut glares daggers at Naruto. She then blows a raspberry at his face, thus covering his face in his salvia. Meanie, yelled Ruffnut, not even paying attention to the annoyed Naruto. He removes her helmet from her head, his hair-covered face. He then raises his hand and gives her a chop to the head. Ruffnut then gains a dazed expression as she didn't actually accept him to hit her. Hell, she didn't even know how strong he is. Hey, that hurt, Naruto, exclaimed Ruffnut. Good. It's supposed yaks for brains. Maybe next time don't use my face as a spit take, roared Naruto. Sure, he'd like Ruffnut, but getting spit on isn't something any person would enjoy. Naruto then groans in annoyance. He then smiles as Ruffnut wraps herself around him, rubbing her cheek against his own whiskered cheek. His eye then twitches as he feels hers wet tongue across his cheek. He pushes her off of him and rolls his eyes at Ruffnut. Ugh, really weirdo, grumbled Naruto. Ruffnut giggles at her annoyed blonde boyfriend. But you like it, Naruto, grinned Ruffnut. Tisk, whatever, weirdo, scoffed Naruto. Ruffnut smiles softly at she then kisses him on the cheek. Naruto then smiles at her. He then kisses her on the lips and enjoys her embarrassed look. More, pleaded Ruffnut, but instead of him acknowledging her request, Naruto pokes her forehead with his index and middle finger. Not today, said Naruto, but he does pat the top of her head. While he's petting the top of her head, he rubs the back of his neck with a sigh. What in Odin's beard am I gonna sew with you? Questioned Naruto. She then leans her head on his shoulder, battering her eyelashes at him. I don't know, give me meat, stated Ruffnut. Naruto just stares at her with a questionable stare, not sure what to make of the female. You, okay. Not sure how I respond, but to respond, but okay. But whatever, groaned Naruto. He then rises to his feet and extends his hand towards Ruffnut. Ruffnut tilts her head in confusion. Huh, replied Ruffnut as she scratched the side of her head. Come on. Get up, said Naruto with a small smile on her face. Why? Asked Ruffnut. Naruto smiles brightly at the female blonde, because we're going fishing, but also I need to get more supplies. I'm running low on fishing equipment and Stoic asked me to get some tools since Goober is also low on killing supplies, said Naruto in a deadpan tone, mostly due to Stoic making him his errand boy. Naruto is aware since Stoic is the chief of Berk, he can order someone to pillage a small village if he so desired, but Stoic isn't that type of chief who would start sending other Vikings out to pillage. Ruffnut then giggles at Naruto. You sounds like fun, Foxy, said Ruffnut in a bright tone, not even minding that Gamma is licking her hand. You said, tools, chuckled Ruffnut. Naruto just snickers at her. Ever since Naruto had came back from Ravage Horn Island with the large dog known as Gamma, she never understood how soft his fur was, even after Naruto explained how Gamma had saved him from the tiny Valder. Naruto had told her Gamma must have a defense mechanism where he's able to harden his fur, thus blocking him from the exploding orb. She didn't quite understand it at first, so Naruto had explained another way, thus allowing the young Viking to understand. Ruffnut then holds onto his hand. She then leans in to kiss his cheek. Naruto leans into Ruffnut, but instead of kissing her cheek like she did, he'd kiss her on the ear. He then began to nibble on her earlobe, causing Ruffnut to release a somewhat loud escaping from her mouth. She then glares at Naruto with a pout on her fave with a visible blush. Ccch cheater, roared Ruffnut. But Naruto just smirks. I win. I always win, said Naruto down at her with victory. While he's still holding her hand, he turns towards Gamma. Come on, Gamma, ordered Naruto. The dingo raptor then rises from the ground and walks right next to the couple. Hey Ruffnut, where's Toughnut? Asked Naruto in curiosity. Ruffnut turned towards Naruto with a disgusted look on her face. He's washing Dad's feet. Just thinking about it makes me sick, said Ruffnut, who looks like she's seconds away from throwing up. Naruto just stares at her with a sly grin. You ditched him, didn't you? Asked Naruto, but it was more of a statement than an actual question. She grins widely at like a Cheshire cat. Yep, besides there's now washing Dad's feet. That's just gross. Would you watch Mulch or Bucket's feet? Questioned Ruffnut. Nah, I wouldn't. I'd mostly find a way to escape, thus having both Dad and Uncle to wash each other's feet, said Naruto with a sadistic grin. He then turned towards Ruffnut. But first we need to stop by my house first, said Naruto. Why? Asked a confused Ruffnut, not really understanding why he needs to go home first, since there would be times where Naruto would just go on his boat, then deciding to head home first. Naruto then lets go of her hand, causing Ruffnut to pout at him. I left my spear at home, said Naruto in a flat tone. Ruffnut stopped walking and stares at him. So, replied Ruffnut with an uncaring tone, with her shrugging her shoulders. So did I need my spear? I never go fishing or traveling without that spear. It's a part of me, said Naruto. Ruffnut just shrugged her shoulders. She then wishes as Naruto gets on Gamma. He then smiles charmingly at her. Hop on. It'll be faster with Gamma than walking, said Naruto. Ruffnut smiles widely without hesitation. Ruffnut quickly gets on the large canine. Ruffnut then wraps her arms around his waist, nuzzling her cheek with his own. She then gains a dopey smile. Onward Gamma. To Naruto's house, roared Ruffnut. The large canine then quickly takes off, forcing Ruffnut to hold on tighter as she can feel the cool wind hitting her face. Naruto smiles at the girl wrapped around him. Flashback, 5 months ago. The blonde scratches underneath Game's chin. He chuckles as the dingo raptor's paw moves in excitement. Naruto honestly loved this new boat. Not only was it 5 times bigger than the one he originally had, but this time he doesn't have to worry about the weight being too much, plus his Vulcansaurus Burstfang can be on the boat without worrying about him getting wet. But he didn't always let Burstfang be on his boat due to the magma dragon weighing more than any of the things he catches. He then glances to his first dragon, the infamous Doomfang Blackheart. Blackheart glares at Burstfang and Garm not in hatred or distrust but in jealousy. The nightmare of the sea still didn't like the fact that her partner had to have the giant mutt or the soot breather. Blackheart honestly thought it would only be her and Naruto and no one else. Naruto rolls his eyes at Blackheart. He'd hope over the 4 years Blackheart would have warmed up to both Burstfang and Garm, but that doesn't seem like the case. He then stopped scratching Garm and turned towards Blackheart. All 4 of her heads just stare at Blackheart with utter confusion. The sea dragon leans one of her head towards Naruto, allowing him to press his head against her on. Each of her heads closed, their eyes purring in sync. "That's a good girl, you're my partner and nothing will change that," stated Naruto. But while usually Blackheart would continue to purr, she opens her eyes, allowing Naruto to gaze into her light ghostly green eyes. She then snarls at Burstfang in jealousy. Burstfang growls at Blackheart, blowing out black soot from his nose. "That's enough. I did not bring you guys here so both of you two can have a dragon battle," ordered Naruto with his eyebrow twitching in annoyance. Both dragons looked away from each other stubbornly. Naruto then rubs the back of his neck. He then turned towards the orange-scaled dragon. "Come on buddy, I brought you guys here so we can go fish," explained Naruto. Naruto then takes out a self-made fishing rod. He then grabs a small shrimp and puts the shrimp on a hook. He then hurls the rod in the ocean. He then glances Burstfang, who begins to fly up in the air. Naruto then stares at the clouds in the bright sky. While Naruto's staring in the sky, Burstfang, Blackheart, and Garm stare at the water. Well, Blackheart plunged each of her heads into the ocean. While most people would have to wait for hours, but not Naruto. Thankfully for his bizarre luck, he didn't have to wait very long. Naruto's eyes shot wide open as he feels a tug on the rod. He then pulls the rod. He grits his teeth as he attempts to pull the rod of the water. Gamma grips on his pants thanks to the incredible strength of the large canine. With the pull from Gamma, Naruto is then flung back. His eyes became wide with shock, which is due a medium-sized orca being at the end of the hook, but that's not what shocked him. What truly shocked him is that a great white shark is butting onto the orca's tail. Naruto then allows a wide smirk to appear on his face. "Hell yeah, I hit the jackpot. Believe it," roared an excited Naruto. Gamma howls in excitement and can't wait to try the delicious meat they've caught. The dingo raptor then jumps on the shark, stopping it from moving without being able to get back in the ocean. The predator of the sea died. Gamma then begins to growl at the ocean. His growling quickly became that of barking. Naruto's ocean blue eyes narrowed in suspicion, since the only time he ever barked like this is when danger. He quickly grabs his spear as he sees some strange creatures swimming around his boat. These creatures weren't sharks, mostly because they weren't built as a shark. They are 2 creatures circling around the boat eyeing the Doomfang. The beast have legs and can crawl onto a ship like a pirate and wreak havoc. They also have wings, along with crevices along their body into which to tuck the wings to reduce drag while swimming. Their head is similar to that of a hammerhead shark in that their eyes are set away from the body on stalks. These shark-like beast is 2-headed. These 2-headed beasts had eyes out on stalks, rather like a hammerhead shark. They also have retractable jaws which sound like what most shark species have. Their back set of teeth could shot forward to grab prey, then retreat back. They appeared have a minimum of 5 rows of teeth in their mouths. They have molten green colored skin, and bright sun red colored eyes. Naruto recognized these creatures thanks to Goober's many tales of dragons. The 2 creatures staring at them were sharkworms. A normal person might pray to Odin into entrance of Valhalla, but not Naruto. After all, he has a Vulcansaurus and Doomfang on his side, 2 deadly powerful dragons. Naruto smirks at the challenge. "Blackheart, be ready for anything," roared Naruto. Even though Blackheart was immersed in the water, she glares daggers at the 2-headed water dragon. She then snarls at the sharkworm. The sea dragon roars at Blackheart. The sharkworm swims towards Blackheart intending to dive its teeth in the nightmarish dragon, but the Doomfang performs a spinning dive dodging the bite. Two of her heads open wide and fires a blue flaming ball. The sharkworm avoids the 4 blast, thus preventing it from being freezes, but while it was able to dodge the blast, its left wing was particularly frozen. The sharkworm roars in anger at Blackheart while Blackheart roars at sharkworm with Demps. The two both swam towards each other, headbutting each other. The sharkworm attempts to swipe at Blackheart, but thanks to her many heads she bites its arm. The sharkworm screams in pain. She then uses her other heads and bite onto both of the necks. She doesn't let go. A crack can be heard with each of their neck snaps. It released the dragon. Blackheart snarls in pain as Blackheart feels the pain as the second sharkworm notes down onto her side. Her eyes went wide open as Naruto dives down, stabbing the sharkworm in its very back. It quickly twirls around, throwing Naruto off. It then charges at Naruto, but Blackheart defends her partner by hitting down on it. Her mouth then glows a bright blue. Naruto is then treated to watch as the sharkworm howls in pain as the lower half of the dragon is frozen. Naruto swims towards the two and stabs his spear into its head. Naruto quickly hops on the back of Blackheart. Naruto is then treated with the worried expression of both Gamma and Burstfang. Naruto smiles at the two. "It's okay, I'm not hurt." "Hey, Blackheart, how are you holding up?" questioned Naruto. Blackheart then nuzzles one of her head against Naruto. Flashback end. Naruto then smirks at remembering the adventure he had with his partners. Sure, Blackheart had been injured, but thankfully the injury she had suffered wasn't too bad, but it was also a good thing that her scales are quite hard. He believed she had such hard scales is thanks to the Doomfang swimming near the bottom of the ocean. After all, Blackheart is a creature made of the underwater nightmare. Naruto always figured that Blackheart and her kind had always lived around the bottom of the ocean. He still can't believe out of all the dragons in the world he would have never imagined he would have befriended a Doomfang. He then released a soft sigh and ignores the excited scream of Ruffnut. Sooner or later Ruffnut and Hiccup will find out I have not one but two dangerous dragons, although I'm not really worried about Hiccup finding out. After all, at best he'll just PSS himself, but I'm truly worried about telling Ruffnut. After all, she's afraid of dragons, thought Naruto. He then stares at his home. He and Ruffnut gets off of Garm. Ruffnut hops onto his back. Naruto raised an eyebrow at her. "Can I help you?" asked Naruto. Ruffnut shook her head negatively. "Nope," said Ruffnut. He just shrugged his shoulders. He enters his home and sees Mulch standing above Bucket, who appears to be in pain. Ruffnut raised an eyebrow at the Bucket wearing Viking. "Hey Mulch, Bucket. What's wrong with Bucket?" asked a curious Ruffnut. Bucket, who's gripping onto his head, smiles at the young Viking. "Hi Ruffnut, my head hurts," yelled in pain. Mulch sighs at his idiotic friend. He then turned to the duo blondes. "Hey Naruto, Ruffnut. Bucket's bucket is getting tight," said Mulch in an unnerving tone as he stares at his son and his girlfriend. Naruto narrows his eyes at his uncle. His eyes then trailed towards his father. "Well, that's not good. Uncle Bucket's bucket tightening is never a go sigh. If I remembered right, last his bucket became tight was when that huge earthshake happened," said Naruto. "Cool," said Ruffnut. "No it isn't," said Mulch in a stern tone. "My dad is right. Literally every time my uncle's bucket becomes tight some sort of natural disaster happens. So it's not cool," declared Naruto. Mulch nods his head in agreement. "Naruto is right. But what are you two doing here?" asked Mulch as he ignores the screams of pain coming from Bucket. "Ruffnut and I are going fishing and we came here to get my spear," said Naruto. Ruffnut then gets off of his back. Naruto enters his room. Mulch then smiles at Ruffnut. He then slide. "So, Ruffnut, I heard your father had enrolled you and your brother into Goober's school," asked Mulch in a curious tone. Ruffnut nods her head with a wide smile. "Yep, we gonna kill some dragons," grinned Ruffnut with an innocent smile. Mulch chuckled at the exclaim from the young girl. He didn't know how she was able to sound innocent while talking about killing dragons. "I also heard that Astrid has joined Goober's school," commented Mulch with a tone of pride. "Astrid gonna win," exclaimed a yelling Bucket. "So Astrid is joined Goober's school. I almost feel sad for everyone." "Well, almost," stated Naruto. Everyone turns towards Naruto, who's wielding his spear with a wide grin on his face. He then turned his attention towards the blonde female. "Alright Ruffnut, let's go," said Naruto. "Okay," said Ruffnut with the shrug of the shoulders with a nonchalant manner. But mentally she was excited to go fishing with her boyfriend. Mulch then placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto turned towards his father. Yes, Dad. What is it? Questioned Naruto with a raised eyebrow staring at him with a curious expression. He then narrows his eyes at his father who has a concerned look on his face. Be careful out there, Naruto. I'm not sure how bad it will be out there, but I suppose the weather won't be too bad. Just be careful, said Mulch with a concerned tone. He smiles widely at his father and nods his head. Right, you can trust me. I'm Naruto, the greatest fisherman. Believe it, yelled Naruto, causing Ruffnut to giggle. Mulch smiles warmly at his son. Just be safe, warned Mulch. Right, you can count on me, grinned Naruto with confidence. Time skip. Ruffnut couldn't understand. It was bright and sunny outside, but somehow it was extremely windy. Not regular windy, but with extreme windy. The wind is so strong, is even strong enough to create strong riptides. Literally, they had only been at sea for 10 minutes at best, and then this strange wind picked hell. She watched a flock of birds literally had been slammed into the water, then eaten by a family of sharks. Sure, it wasn't awesome to see a bunch of sharks eat those birds, but it was still quite shocking to see the birds be randomly eaten. While Ruffnut holds onto the railing for dear life, Gamma struggles to get his footing thanks to the boat rocking rapidly. Gamma growls in frustration. He didn't understand how this wind even happened. Usually he would have sensed the upcoming storm, but for some odd reason he wasn't able to sense the storm. Actually, he didn't even feel the wind pick up, which the dingo raptor felt bizarre since he had lived on an island where the only weather they got was heat and wind. Gamma then became annoyed at the boat shifting to side. He then hops onto Ruffnut's lap, who grunts at the weight of the canine. Ruffnut's face then becomes a sickly green due to the ship rocking violently. She turned towards Naruto's, who's laughing with excitement. She couldn't understand how he can so excited. While Ruffnut is seasick, Naruto is having the time of his life. To him this is life, him and the raw element of the sea. As the water slams against his face, he has a wide grin, laughing like a maniac. Usually someone would find his laugh off-putting, but not Ruffnut, since she knows this is where he thrives and feels the most alive. But Ruffnut finds herself thankful that Naruto had released the anchors down. She knew if he hadn't, they would have joined the gods in the halls of Valhalla. Yahoo! Oh wow, look at that! Stupendous! Oh wow, what a great show! Yelled Naruto as he watches the many fish and sea dragons being slammed against each other. Others might believe he's insane, but not Ruffnut. She knew Naruto going up against the raw elements of the sea. It was almost like he was challenging the sea itself, but still she couldn't understand how they were even able to catch any fish today. Like seriously, we're in a windy storm and he somehow was able to catch all these fish. Dad and everyone were not kidding. He does have insane, thought Ruffnut as she stares at the fishing cage. Not holds octopus, clams, fish, swordfish, hammer shark, baby walrus, a baby great white, catfish, crab, and a jellyfish. To Ruffnut it was clear who won this fight. It almost seemed like the sea was challenging Naruto. I win. I always win. Okay, well, we got one I wanted, said Naruto, who's looking at Ruffnut. Ruffnut raised an eyebrow at Naruto, but I thought we were supposed to get supplies for Goober. What are you scared? Teased Ruffnut with her face being a sickly green. Naruto just scoffed at Ruffnut. Of course not, Ruffnut. I'm just being lazy, ahaha. He's a grown-up. If he wants to get his killing tools, then he can get it himself, ahaha. I am no one's pack mule. Besides, I never planned to get it in the first place, laughed Naruto with a bright grin placed on his face. Ruffnut then laughs with him. You lied, chuckled Ruffnut, who's holding onto the railing with dear life. He just nods his head. Yep, I never intended to get them, ahaha. If he wants his weapon so much, then he can get it himself, grinned Naruto. Is he going to be mad? Asked Ruffnut. Nope, because I've done this before, grinned Naruto. After getting what he needed and getting lectured by Goober, he heads home from tiring day. The next day he and Hiccup are skinning the fish and taking out the feces. Sitting next to him is Hiccup. The brunette released a sigh. Okay, tell why I'm helping you skin and take out the fish poop, asked Hiccup. Because two people are better than one. Besides, this way I can get it done, Fane, stated Naruto as he's focused on skinning the fish, not even paying attention to the annoyed Hiccup. Why don't you just get Toughnut or Ruffnut to help you, pondered Hiccup. Naruto glances towards the sleeping Gamma. He then turned back. Ti Hiccup, simple, my short screeching little friend. Ruffnut is home sleeping from the seasickness and Toughnut is out hunting with his dad, said Naruto. Hiccup then looks up at the concentrated Naruto. Hey Naruto, I've decided, said Hiccup. Naruto just looks up at Hiccup with a raised eyebrow. Decided what, you have feelings for Snotlout, joked Naruto with a half grin on his face. Hiccup states at him with an appalled expression, what? No. Naruto, I've decided to ask my dad to sign me up for Goober school, said Hiccup. Naruto then begins to laugh at Hiccup. The brunette just states at the laughing blonde with a deadpan look. Naruto, I'm serious, said Hiccup. He then stopped laughing and smirks at him. Oh really, then let me laugh harder. Ahahaha, laughed Naruto. He then begins to laugh even harder than before, causing Hiccup to roll his eyes at Naruto. Hiccup release another sigh. He really should have saw it coming, but then again he couldn't really blame the blonde fisherman. He isn't really the type to hunt dragons. His blonde friend seemed to care more about fishing than anything else and forcing people to help him. The young brunette had tried to walk away, but Naruto has literally picked him up and taking him with him, and not to forget about the fisherman's love for parks. He honestly has no idea how Ruffnut or Toughnut are able to handle Naruto, but then again those two are quite stupid and they generally are drawn to danger, so it made sense how the blonde twins would follow Naruto. I really wished Naruto would stop laughing already. It isn't even that funny, thought Hiccup as he watches his blonde friend continue to laugh his ass off. You done it? Asked Hiccup, who's looking at Naruto with deflated look. Naruto chuckles lightly. He wipes away a tear drop from his face. YUADD Dragon HH Hunter, ahahaha, laughed Naruto. His laughing was so loud it even begun to awake his large dingo raptor. Looks at Naruto in curiosity at Naruto. He then turns to Hiccup and wonder if the young skinny boy did something funny. Garm then decides to head to the kitchen for water. Naruto then holds his stomach. Ahaha, yeah, I'm done. Wait. Ahahaha. Now I'm done, but why the hell you want to hunt dragons? You can barely pick up an axe, said Naruto to him. It made zero sense when his friend is skinny and not the strongest. Working at Goober's shop or a fisherman made more sense. Hiccup sighs to himself. He then smiles at Garm and pets the gigantic canine. I just want to make my dad proud, says Hiccup. Naruto stares at Hiccup with a raised eyebrow. Ugh, I just want to do something for the island. And I just want to prove I'm not some useless helpless baby, says Hiccup with a downcast look. You're not a helpless baby and you're going to be a dead-ass baby if you join Goober's class, said Naruto in a flat tone. Sure, he might have some crazy things, but he at least can defend himself and have backup. Hiccup on the other chance doesn't. Naruto then runs his hand through his hair. Dude, if you want I can teach you how to fight, said Naruto with his arms crossed. Hiccup looks at Naruto, works deadpan look. I thought you were my friend, said Hiccup. I am, which is why I'm telling you it's a dumb idea and this is coming from me, said the blonde. Would you at least join me? Asked Hiccup. Naruto now looks at Hiccup with a deadpan look. He'll know. I'd rather commit suicide, yells Naruto. There's no way in hell Hiccup or anyone is going to convince him to join Goober's class. You're not even going to at least think about? Asked Hiccup. Naruto just shook his head negatively. Not really. What's there's to think about? Asked Naruto in a flat tone. You really don't want to join Goober's school, hub? Questioned Hiccup. Like I said, I'd rather do suicide. Besides, both the same thing, said Naruto, who shrugged his shoulders. They are definitely not the same, says Hiccup with a deadpan expression he knew shouldn't have hoped for. A positive response, but he was really being a bit optimistic. Of course, being friends with many years, he should have known Naruto only cares about fishing, and the idea of Naruto joining Goober's class sounds more like a prank. They are to me. Besides, I'm too busy to be playing Dragon Hunter, said Naruto, which he wasn't a lie. He's one of the best fishermen on the island, and thanks to his ridiculous luck he always gets the best the catch, and the people rely on him to get many fishes, and the fact that he still plays pranks with Snotlout and Mildew. So, you sure? Asked Hiccup. Definitely, I'll take my chance with the water. Now I have fish to clean and cut and you're helping, said Naruto, picking up Hiccup and throws him over his shoulder like he was a sack of potatoes. Hiccup stares in confusion as he's being covered away. He turns to Naruto with a look of confusion. Why am I coming? Asked Hiccup. He then looks on with a plain look as Garm licks his face. Naruto then gains a cheerful her mischievous look. Simple, my dear Hiccup. You made me listen to your stupid dream of becoming a dragon hunter, says Naruto. Hiccup tries to jump down from Naruto's shoulder but he has him in a tight hold, and I just like Wisconsin to help me, thought Naruto with a grin. You're a lousy friend, you know that, right? Groaned Hiccup as he's treated as Naruto's pack mole, which has been happening for the past years. He still considered Naruto as one of his best friends, and he actually has fun when with Naruto when he was going on his prank spree, even though he might be the victim of some of Naruto's pranks. Hiccup then looks at Naruto with a smile. He actually admires his blonde friend. He wasn't afraid of anyone, he actually knew what he wanted. Sometimes he envied Naruto at how free-spirited he is. He never let anyone bother him. Even when the demand for fishes had increased he never faltered. Sometimes he wondered if there was anything that actually bothered Naruto. As they entered Naruto's workshop he drops Hiccup on the ground. He then groans as Garm starts to lick his face. Hiccup wipes the saliva from his face. Naruto then drops a pair's gloves on his head. Hiccup grabs the gloves and puts on Naruto, then hands him a knife. The two then begins to cut and gut each of the fishes. Naruto, how do you catch so many fishes? Asked Hiccup. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and tosses a fish to Garm, who eats the fish whole. I don't know. I guess just lucky, lied Naruto. Well, it wasn't really a lie. When it came to fishing he's always has extreme luck. It also helps that he has a Doomfang to also help him catch food. Your luck is insane, states Hiccup as he guts a catfish. Unfortunately it became a snack for the dingo raptor. He then glares at the large canine. That wasn't yours, said Hiccup. Garm just goes over to Naruto and lays down and growls lowly as Naruto scratched his large pet behind the ear. Hiccup just sighs at the canine. Man's best friend, mumbled Hiccup. He then focused back at the large fish as he guts it. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and begins to cut and gut the many crustaceans. Not my fault. Garm stole your fish. I didn't tell him, said the grinning Naruto. Of course Hiccup didn't believe him. That grin wasn't the slightest bit of innocent. Hiccup just sighs knowing Naruto most likely told his pet to do it. After all, it ain't like Naruto doesn't have a lot of sea life. He does have 3 freezers. Naruto is so lucky he does whatever he likes. And at least his father doesn't always get on his ass like his own. And honestly I'm not sure if I really want to lead Berk, thought Hiccup as he watches the carefree Naruto gut away the sea creatures. He looks at Naruto, who has a bright smile on his whiskered face. He doesn't think he ever actually seen someone so happy. Even the other fishermen didn't look as happy when they had to cut and gut. Actually he can't remember any time when Naruto didn't enjoy fishing. He seemed like he enjoyed the whole process. Naruto, is there any part of fishing you don't like? Asked Hiccup. Naruto just shook his head negatively, causing Hiccup to look at him with a deadpan look. Nope, not really. I like the whole process of fishing, to the wading and to the sailing. Being at sea always made me feel at peace, said Naruto with a bright smile on his face. He always felt at home when he was at sea. He knows how dangerous the sea is, but so is land. Later, that day Naruto was eating dinner with his father and Uncle Bucket. You know, I heard that little Hiccup is joining Goober's school, said Mulch as he bites into a fried fish. Good for him, exclaimed Bucket. Yeah, I know, Hiccup told me that, said Naruto. He then pats Garm on the head. The large canine that goes over to his bowl and begins to eat. I still think Hiccup is a dumbass for going to Goober's class, but it's his choice. I'm sure he'll realize he isn't a dragon hunter, and I doubt he can actually kill a dragon, thought Naruto. Mulch smiles at his son. You shoulda seen Stoic, he looked so happy, says a smiling Mulch. He then takes a bite out of bread. He then hums in delight at the taste of the garlic bean butter. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders. He then grabs a piece of garlic bread. I guess so, Hiccup is trying to impress his old man, says Naruto. He then watches as his Uncle Bucket accidentally bites a bone. Bucket grabs the tiny piece of bone and drop it in the table. Mulch then massages his long beard. He then smiles brightly and slamming his hands on the table, scaring Bucket, Naruto, and Garm. The 3 of them. He stares at the man with shock. That's it, exclaim Mulch. Naruto and Bucket look at each other with confusion. Naruto rubs the back of his hair in confusion. What you talking about? Asked Naruto. Even Garm was looking at Mulch with the look of confusion. You going to Goober's school, says Mulch. What? Mumbled Naruto, not sure what he just heard. No, he had to have heard wrong. There's no way his dad would send him to Goober's school, especially not when he's one of the best fishermen. Both Stoic and Goober had even said so. You join Goober's school, says Mulch. But why? Stuttered Naruto. You need to learn how to fight dragons. And just think about it this way, you can watch out for Hiccup, says Mulch. Naruto then looks like the world just ended, then gains a look of disgust. I'd catch the plague, said Naruto. Don't you want to go? Asked Bucket. No way, uncle. Hiccup and join, but I'm not, my heart belongs to the sea, says Naruto crossing his arms. You're going, says Stoic. I refuse, said Naruto stubbornly. Stoic eyes harder, staring at Naruto with a stern look. Yes, you are, says Stoic. No, I'm not, said Naruto. Yes, you are, and that's final, said Mulch. Naruto grunts his teeth in frustration. He then turns to his uncle, who just smiles and nods his head. Naruto bites his lip in anger. You Gaia just hate me, don't you? Grumbled Naruto. We don't hate you, son, says Mulch. Bucket nods his head. That's right. We love you, cheered Bucket. Naruto then slams his head on the table. You defiantly hate me, groans Naruto. Garm licks Naruto's hand, but it has zero effect for Naruto. It was like Ragnarok had just started. The next day Naruto is at Goober's school. The blonde has his spear strapped to his back, looking miserable. Hiccup along with Astrid, Snotlout, Ruffnut, and Toughnut stare at Naruto in confusion. This does not seem like something would choose to do. You're here. But why? Asked Hiccup. You lie, exclaimed Toughnut. Not of my choosing, grumbled Naruto. They then hear clapping and turns to Goober. Okay, that's enough everyone, my name is Goo cough cough cough. What in cuff blue blazisa cough that, exclaimed Goober. Everyone begins to cough as a self-made smoke bomb was thrown. Ah! My eyes sting, exclaims Toughnut. He then groans in pain as he accidentally headbutts with his sister. Ugh, what is that smell? Groaned Fishlegs, yelled the large child as he just smells as if a skunk had sprayed. Me eyes starting to burn, groaned Goober as he runs his eyes. Astrid groans in annoyance as she knocked over. Ugh, what the heck, groaned Astrid. She then squeezed her eyes as she makes out a large figure running by. What the, mumbled Astrid. After a few minutes later the smoke finally vanishes away. They noticed Naruto isn't here. All there was a note. She then picks it up. Fishlegs turns to Astrid. What does it say? Asked Fishlegs, says the boy, and looking quite confused. She then gains a deadpan expression. Sorry, everyone, but I couldn't stay. We're just on two different paths, but don't worry, I left a little gift, said Astrid, reading the note. She along with everyone was confused. They each look around. Suddenly a small bag drops from the ceiling. As it hits the ground a green smoke covers them. Each of them cough. I'm gonna kill him, screamed Astrid in anger as they were hit by Naruto's infamous smoke bombs. Snotlout sniffed his arm and nearly throws up at the smell. Oh sweet Odin, that stinks, groaned Snotlout. Each of them sniffed themselves and they each nearly threw up. Hate that guy, groaned Snotlout, who has been the victim of Naruto's multiple pranks. Ugh, of course he does this, groans Hiccup. Goober groans loudly. He then noticed another student has also vanished. Ruffnut, the twin sister of Toughnut. Where's Ruffnut? Wondered Goober, looking around in confusion. Everyone does too, but couldn't see the blonde girl. Naruto grins widely as he rides on Garm. Kukuku, suckers. Best prank yet, exclaims Naruto with a wide grin. Yeah, nice one, yelled Ruffnut, shocking Naruto. He then looks back and sees Ruffnut holding onto Garm's tail. Naruto then pulls her up. The dim-witted girl holds onto Naruto, wrapping her arms around Naruto. What you doing? Asked Naruto in confusion. Ruffnut just smiles at him. She then shrugged her shoulders. I don't know. Seem like fun, said Ruffnut, causing Naruto to chuckle. This wasn't part of the plan, but he wasn't complaining. So, where to? Asked Ruffnut, leaning her head on his shoulder. Naruto grins at Ruffnut. Have you ever been shark fishing? Grins Naruto. Ruffnut grins at Naruto. Everyone in town jumps back as Garm leaps to rooftop with both blondes cheering with glee and scaring many of the sheep in the process. As the two get to the boat, Ruffnut untied the knot, keeping it port, and just as it leaves, Mulch arrives, clearly hearing how Naruto had pranked Goober and the students, and then ditched class with Ruffnut. As the boat sails away, Naruto and Ruffnut waves at him. And remember, this was the day you almost caught Naruto the fisherman, yells Naruto. Bye, says Ruffnut, waving away at Mulch, who just looks at this with a deadpan look on his face. Unknown to Ruffnut, Naruto's first dragon Blackheart swam under the ship and even swam low enough not to be detected by any of the Vikings. Mulch sighs as he watches the boat drifts away. The Viking massages the temple of his forehead. She honestly wish he should be surprised, but he isn't. He should have known Naruto would pull a prank. Ugh, why must he always do that, groaned Mulch. He was definitely going to ground Naruto and find some way to punish the boy. He honestly wishes the boy wouldn't make things so difficult. Mulch then punches his nose as he smells like something died and then was bathed. 20 tons rotten fish. Oh my, that smells horrible, exclaimed Mulch. That's some boy you got, says Goober. Mulch turns to him and covers his nose and realizes the smell coming from Goober is no doubt the handiwork of Naruto's stink bombs. On the boat the two were laughing at the prank. Ruffnut then grins. Your dad gonna be so mad, laughed Ruffnut. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders. Maybe, but it's worth it, says Naruto, placing both hands behind his head and lets out a yawn. He knew as soon as he returned to Berk he was grounded, but he was fine as long as he doesn't have to Goober's school. He's happy. Plus, why would he even want to be a dragon hunter? He does have 2 dragon partners and he honestly doesn't care for killing dragons. He then turns to Ruffnut. Ain't your brother gonna be mad? Asked Naruto. Ruffnut just waves Naruto off in a nonchalant manner. Nah, he always sinks. This is normal for him, says Ruffnut, causing him to laugh. And with how bad Goober and other children smell, Goober's school will be closed for a few days. It will take a few days to wash the stink out. And of course this would probably lead to Astrid, Naruto's rival, to challenge him. Even now the two still spar to see which is stronger, and this also leads to Naruto pranking her. Naruto then smiles as he smells the sea. He then leans over and see dolphins flying swimming by. Plus Naruto still needs to head to island. He recently heard from Johan supposedly this island is home to some rare sea life. The island is called Rainbow Island. He also heard the two has some really good meat like pork meat. Yup, definitely more important than Goober's school, thought the blonde. He then lets out an oof as Ruffnut stomachs on him, landing on his stomach. Ruffnut then grabs hold on his cheeks. She grins at him as she begins to pull his cheeks. Ah. So that's how you wanna play, huh? Grins Naruto. He then grabs onto her Viking helmet and slams it down. Hey, who turned the light off? Wondered Ruffnut. Naruto then grabs onto her pigtails and flips her on her back. Naruto then placed his spear on top of Ruffnut. He snickers as Ruffnut struggles to lift it since the weapon is heavy. Naruto stands over Ruffnut. He then removes the helmet with a wide grin on face. He then taps her on the head. I win, says Naruto, sticking out his tongue. She in return blows a raspberry at him. No, fair, exclaims Ruffnut. Naruto picks up the staff and set it on the side. Ruffnut grins at him and jumps at him, wrapping herself around him. She then begins to miss with his blonde locks and giving him a nuggie. That's cheating, yells Ruffnut. She then starts pinching his cheeks. She then grins widely at Naruto, both of their blue eyes staring at each other, with led to Ruffnut blushing at him. Over the years she soon began noticing just how cute and hot Naruto is. She especially likes Pharaoh-like. Nah, this is cheating, says the blushing fisherman. He then begins to tickle her sides, making laugh hysterically. She begins to lose, falling back, and Naruto along with her both hit the floor with a loud thud, both groaning in pain. Okay, that wasn't fun, says Naruto. As the two poem their eyes, they are quickly close to one another like nose touching, which course turns their whole face red. Along on the boat Garm stares at the two in curiosity. As they continue to stare at each, they can feel each other's warm breath. Ruffnut's fingers begin to tremble at just how close they are, which also lead to Ruffnut headbutting Naruto. Both blondes scream in pain at the headbutt. Both of them didn't look at each, which has caused the boat ride pretty awkward and quiet, and Garm made himself entertained by forcing the more dim-witted blonde to play him. But as she plays with the large canine, she does steal a few glances at the blonde. The boat then stops moving, causing Ruffnut to look at Naruto in curiosity. She then walks over to him, punches his shoulder, causing a little chuckle. She then looks forward and sees shark fins swimming by. She then grins at this. She then begins to wonder how would this work if the water had piranhas in them. Naruto then hands her a fishing rod, but this one looks a little bigger and a stronger thread. The two then hook a fish to a rod and throws their rods. With a few minutes Naruto's rod then begins to run his rod. Garm then begins to bite on Naruto's pants and pulling Naruto back. Ruffnut see this and helps to pull Naruto back, and with a pull a small shark flies up in the sky. Naruto and Ruffnut grins at each other. While the two were busy shark fishing, Blackheart the Doomfang is doing her own shark fishing and begins to eat them whole. The sea dragon hums in delight at the food. Time skip. Naruto groans as he's in Goober's school again. He wasn't only grounded but so was his boat. He then groans loudly, but this was a short hiccup. As everyone practice using weapons, Naruto drops a few firecracker. He then throws a firecracker at Goober. Naruto laughs at him as he hops over Goober and runs out the building. He then begins to laugh as he sees Garm and jumps on the dingo raptor, who barks immediately. The two head to the shore and Naruto smiles at the small boat. Good thing, they forgot I never threw it away, said Naruto. He then pushes the boat at sea and he's quickly met by his Volcanixorus, Burst Fong. He smiles at Volcano type dragon. He buddy, said the blonde, petting the dragon. Don't worry bud, we'll fly, said Naruto. The giant dragon roars in response. The dragon then takes to the sky. Naruto grins at the wind hitting his face. Blackheart swims by Naruto. The blonde, he then grins knowing Goober he probably sent other Vikings to hunt him down. He did actually throw firecrackers at him. A sweat drop then appears on the side of his head. Yeah, he's gonna kill me. Oh well, that's future Naruto's fault, said Naruto in a relaxing tone. Naruto stares at the sky. He narrows his eyes as he sees something fast flies over, and unfortunately it was far too fast for him to tell what it was. He knew it was a dragon, but he's never seen a dragon move so fast. It also seemed like it was probably passing by Berk. I wonder what is that, wondered Naruto. He then feels like something hit his boat, which nearly caused to fall over. Ugh, damn it, grumbled Naruto. He then grabs hold of his spear. A Scaldron rises its head from the sea glaring at Naruto with a low growl. Fortunately for Naruto, before the Scaldron could fire scalding water at Naruto, it is not by a blue fireball which freezes part of his face, causing it roar at Blackheart, who roared back. It then fires a water blast, but Blackheart fires a blue flame with the Scaldron distracted. Naruto throws the spear at the Scaldron, causing it to roar in pain. Naruto quickly jumps on it and tries to pull it out, but it swims under, pulling Naruto down within. Blackheart narrows her eyes and swims under. It quickly bites down on the sea dragons. Naruto then yanked the spear out, causing BLD to flow out, which no doubt will draw in other cavernous sea life. Naruto then floats back to Blackheart and grabs on her head and holds right. She then fires multiple fireball which froze various parts of its body. Blackheart then quickly swims to the top. Naruto grins down to Blackheart, thankful for the Doomfang. As the dragon drops Naruto off in the boat, the blonde pats the beast on the head, causing her to purr. Thanks, Blackheart, you are a lifesaver, said the blonde. He then gains a look of seriousness as the gray clouds begin to black out the sky. Okay, great. Rain. Ugh, boo, yells Naruto. He then begins paddle more until he's in a comfortable fishing spot. He then throws fishing rod and waits for him to get a bite. While Naruto is waiting for a bite, Blackheart is swimming around being on guard, watching out for any dragon. It then spots a car fish and after it is a shark. Blackheart easily swims stealthy, appearing behind the shark and bites on the shark, causing it to scream in pain as it is ate by the Doomfang. Naruto smirks at his catch and throws it in the ice bucket. Naruto then narrowed his eyes as he sees a flock of dragons. This causes him to look up in wonder. Yeah, I'm fine being a fisherman. Dragon hunter sucks. But I wonder where they are going, wondered Naruto. A days later, Naruto notices Hiccup has been asking weird. He's been seeing him walk away as if he's trying to hide something, and he's even seen some of his drawing, and they were dragons. And one of the drawings reminded of the dragon he saw a few days ago. Naruto then watches the brunette run off somewhere. Danger senses are tingling, mumbled Naruto. Astrid looks at the blonde in confusion. What are you talking about? You're walking danger, exclaimed Astrid. Naruto shrugged his shoulders at Astrid. At least I'm fun. By the way, Snotlout said you're a second-rate Viking, says Naruto, watching as Astrid chase after Snotlout. Well, that took care of that, says Naruto. He then whistles. Within a few seconds Garm comes running down. He hops on him and he quickly follows after Hiccup. Where the hell are you going? Thought Naruto as he stealthily follows after Hiccup. He noticed the further they got, the further they were away from village. Just what are you doing out here? Wondered Naruto. He watches as Hiccup walk out in the clearing. Hiccup dogs into his bag and pulls out some type of flag. Suddenly a night fury drops down as the dragon tosses to the side, but doing this causes him to skid across water and it soon hits the ground. I got you something, says Hiccup with a nervous look on his face. The dragon narrowed his eyes before begrudgingly allows Hiccup to put the prosthetic tail wing. Naruto chuckles at Hiccup. Well, I'll be DMN. But so much for being a dragon killer. I knew he didn't have it in him, said Naruto. He then watches as the two struggle to fly, and even when they do, the flying was very short-lived as the two came cashier the ground. Naruto then glances at Garm. You know, if I was anyone else I would do the smart thing and tell Stoic and Goober. Then, again nah, he's fine, said Naruto. If Hiccup was in danger then he would have came to him already, or already be dinner for the Night Fury. But a Night Fury? Nice one, but how the hell did it lose part of the tail, thought Naruto. Naruto then pats Garm on the head. I guess I'll keep his secret, says Naruto. While Hiccup was busy making the Night Fury's prosthetic leg, Naruto was also drawing designs for a machine that'll allow him to be underwater longer. He's also been watching Hiccup too. Hiccup had even begun to ask him about dragons, especially the Night Fury, the dragon that no one has seen. The following day Hiccup seemed quite happy that day. He always knew how curious he is about dragons. He honestly seemed more interested about learning them than killing them, which is why he called bullshit on Hiccup. Plus the kid couldn't kill a dragon. He's far too nice and curious about dragons. Plus with how knowledgeable Hiccup seems to be with dragons is pretty suspicious. Hell, everyone else found it weird, especially Astrid. He's been able to distract her by pranking her and sparring with the warrior woman. Today he caught Hiccup sneaking off, and he watches as the two take flight and practice, and he watches with a smile as the stops themselves from falling. Hiccup with his hair blown back pets the sleeping dragon with a look of realization, but before he can even think more about dragons the Night Fury growls and hissed at the air. He looks up in the sky and sees a Volcanixorus, and to Hiccup's surprise Naruto is riding on said dragon. "And Naruto!" exclaimed a shocked Hiccup. He then pats the dragon on the head, stopping it from attacking his friend. He then stood in front of the Night Fury. He then glances at the dragon. "It's okay. WWH, what you doing? How do you have a dragon?" "What is that?" asked Hiccup with a look of confusion. Naruto had literally caught him relaxing with dragons, and Naruto is riding into a dragon. And he must admit he's never seen a dragon quite like Burst Fong. "Simple, me and Burst Fong had been friends for a while now." "I have another dragon," said Naruto, no doubt shocking him. This most likely the most surprisingly thing he heard. He then thinks back a long time ago when Naruto left and came back from Garm. "Wait, you have two?" asked a shocked Hiccup. Naruto just nods his head. "Yeah, a Doom Fong. She was my first dragon, then Burst Fong," said Naruto. "You're not gonna tell my father, are you?" asked Hiccup. Naruto then looks at Hiccup as if he was some type of idiot. Naruto looks at Hiccup with a deadpan expression on his face. Naruto then hops off of the Volcanixorus and drops in front of Hiccup. Naruto then chops him on the head, who groans in pain. "Are you some type of idiot? If I tell your dad, then he'll find out about my own." "What do you think he'll do then?" exclaims Naruto. He then keeps playfully chopping Hiccup's head. Hiccup sighs. "Great, he's right. If dad find out, it won't be good," thought Hiccup. He then looks at Naruto in curiosity. "Then what are you going to do?" asked Hiccup. He then turns to Burst Fong and stick his hand out. The dragon allows him to pet him, which puts a smile on Hiccup's face. "Simple, I'm going to make sure no one finds out about your friend, here." "You're smart, but you're also an idiot too," said Naruto. He knocks on Hiccup's head, causing him to call back on his butt. "Everyone but be oblivious, but not Astrid. In exchange for my help you have to help me, my very naive friend," grins Naruto with a sly look on his face. And if Hiccup didn't know better, he would assume he just made a deal with Surtur or Loki. Hiccup just shook his head. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for more crossovers. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author KingBeasta on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.